And welcome back to the Nintendo Podcast, episode 19. I was about to say season 2. I'm like, it's not the Nintendo Prime podcast anymore. Sorry, guys. So we have a jam show. If you guys can't tell, we have 6. We're fully loaded. So being fully loaded, we have a lot of stuff we want to get through. So first, let's get introducing all of our guests and everyone who's here. Let's start off with a first-time Nintendo podcast appearance from Shadow Fox Infinite, man. How you doing?
Oh, how y'all doing? I'm gonna step in the game. Shadow Fox on Shadow Fox Infinite. Shadow Fox ShadowCasts will be kicking off pretty soon.
Yeah, dude, the ShadowCast.
Yep. I
forgot about that. When was your last episode? A couple months ago?
Yeah, March was the last official episode. It was a cross promoted episode. So a lot of personal stuff going on in between now and then. Get ready to relaunch the channel. So
nice. Just in time for Switch 2. Let's go.
Yep, just in time.
Just in time. All right. Favlam. How's it going, man?
Howdy. Hang on, I'm trying to find the tab. I was looking at Twitter. Find Shadow Fox.
Did you really keep the 2 chicken for the hot chip?
Yeah, really. I didn't change it. I don't know. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know about the 2 chicken for hot chip, me and Nate here have a bet that if Switch 2 is announced sometime this month, he gets my little zapper back there. And if not, I get he has a piece of art that
Poe sister art.
Yeah, I'm a Poe. But yeah, my name's Favlam. I'm a Nintendo Variety streamer, primarily streamer. YouTube is getting there. And yeah, if you like Nintendo news and content and all that kind of stuff and just crazy challenges, follow me. That's me. That's my stuff.
Yeah. Then we got Game Junction back. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh man, a lot going on, dude. I got 2 videos out today plus this. Dude, I've been busy.
I saw that. I was wondering what the heck. How are you doing that?
Homework, it's always
pumping them out. But no, I'm doing good, staying busy. Got a lot going on, so yeah, staying busy.
Nice. We have obviously our co-host back, Eric Moore, as always.
Hello.
He's drafting and relaxing.
I am.
Quite literally, he's doing a draft during the streams.
Yep.
You heard a little da-da-da-da-da. Yeah, okay, we got the sound turned off for the draft. It was playing through.
Whoops.
Thunderstash Gaming rocking the Dreamcast shirt.
Yes. In case you guys didn't know, it's 25 years coming up on the 9th. Yep. Original release date was 9/9/99.
Crazy.
I was there. I was there on day 1, picking it up at Toys R Us. I was sick from school that day in high school. Be sure to go down there and pick it up. Great memories. And exciting show today. We got a lot of good stuff to talk about. So sit back and enjoy.
All right. Obviously, you guys know what's up with me. I'm the host of the most. All right, let's go ahead and get into our topic roulette. We only have 3 topics to go through because Shadow Fox is taking one of them. We'll leave that topic as a surprise. I'm sure you guys can tell by the title what that topic probably is when we don't choose it. But let's go ahead and have Eric, why don't you go first, man? What topic you can take?
I'll take the Mario Party Jamboree news.
All right. Yeah, we got lots of game topics.
He knows I'm going to talk about it for him.
Hey, can I pick first because
that's awesome.
I'm not stupid when I pick my topics.
All right, Thunderstash, which one do you want?
I will take Mario and Luigi Brothership news.
Dang it.
That means I take Echoes of Wisdom. All right. So Echoes of Wisdom will be our last topic. All right, let's go ahead and get to our first topic. Eric, what are we talking about, buddy?
We are talking about Mario Party Jamboree news. Hooray! There's been a lot of updates, and I will throw it over to Flam to fill us all in.
So let me tell you, that was a long night for me with that link came out of the Japanese website. It's so funny they still don't have like an official English website of it, but yeah, they dropped the website on the Japanese side, and it has a ton. I mean, like they go into detail of not almost every minigame, but a lot of new minigames. They found out through this website, through promotional material on the website, that Pauline from like Donkey Kong and also Mario Odyssey is in Mario Party Jamboree as a playable character. It seems like the entire roster from Super Mario Party is back. The 20-player mode involves a lot of the like Bowser mechanics, like kind of how you saw with the Wii U Bowser, but it's not a mandatory mechanic throughout the whole game. That's the best part about it. There's just so many crazy details that they dropped. It's like we know almost all the intricacies of every map that's going to be coming. We have 5 new maps and 2 returning maps from older Mario parties. I mean, it's almost, I think it's 105 mini games, which is the most in any Mario Party game ever. Even more than like they did the top 100. It's more than that, obviously, but that's that was the previous record holder. Is the reason I bring that up. It just, and also the graphics look really crisp. I don't know if anyone else noticed that, but it looks really crispy, and like it looks like Mario. It looks like a Mario Kart 8 graphic. You know what I mean? It just looks like everything in the world looks so good, so polished. I'm really excited. There's a ton of mini games that I've seen that are new. One of the mini games that looks like it looks like a dueling mini game is you're on 2 buttons and there's like a slapping hand going back and forth. And you can either choose to ground pound, and that makes the hand go in the other direction, or jump to avoid the hand. So in theory, you can jump it and avoid it, and it hits the person that hit the ground pound. It's a really cool prisoner's dilemma mini game. I'm like, oh, that's gonna make for some amazing clips and gameplay and whatnot. I'm trying to think of any other details. There's a map that's a gimmick that's a racetrack that involves like 4. You play 4 dice blocks. That map reminds me a lot of Wii Party. I don't know if anyone ever played Wii Party back on the Wii. That's a fun one. It's definitely a ripoff of Mario Party, but it had enough polish to it that it was still pretty fun. Yeah, there's just, I mean, I could talk about this for literally hours. I don't want to hog all the airways about Mario Party, but man, it looks good. It looks like character dice is like, it is confirmed character dice are not coming back. We have a lot of cool items coming back, like the hexes from Mario Party DS. I'm just so excited. I'm like, it's like, oh, this is game day for me, baby. This is it. This is the good stuff. So, I'll leave it to the group. I don't know. What are you guys excited for in the game? Do you guys have like a map that you've seen or anything from the trailers that you've seen or the leaks, or I guess leaks, air quotes, that has excited you?
I just like the style. They kind of brought back the sensational lighting, lighting style. As you said, it's kind of reminiscent of Mario Kart.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of like that.
Yeah, I agree. It's super clean. Yeah.
The most effort they've put into a Mario Party in a bit. That's
yeah.
The last 2 Mario Parties were fine. And there were some things I liked about it, and some things that's kind of like, okay, they're kind of phoning it in a bit. Which is, I mean, they do like 2 or 3 of these every gen, so not all of them end up being top tier. At least, lately. Back in the day, it felt like they were always top tier, but maybe I was a kid and didn't care. But no, like they have like some returning mini games as well coming back, which is really some fan favorites from over like 4 or 5 different Mario Party games, which is cool. What's really interesting though is that a majority of the mini games are actually brand new, and that's really they came with a whole bunch of new ones. I hope they're not like all motion based, because that would be a little bit of a turn off if they're all that way. But
it appears there's plenty that are, it's like a good mix. There's plenty that are, because I remember I saw a promotional today that was like button mashing, motion control, this like it like literally listed out those types of like categories. There's a little bit for everybody, and I was like, oh, perfect. It's just keeps getting better. I'm gonna link the website and the YouTube. I don't know, do you use your YouTube chat allow links? I don't know. I can pull it up. I'll try. If it doesn't work,
you can do a share screen. We can share it up.
Okay, yeah, 1 second. Let me.
We're fine. But yeah, no, the games, the game. Obviously, like the thing that excites me the most about Jamboree is that what they announced when they announced the game, the whole 20-player online mode. Like as a content creator, that's huge fun for live streams and stuff. So, I have a bunch of members on my channel. So like the fact that hey, 19 of you guys, let's get in here and play. That's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, so it appears to be called, the 20-player mode specifically appears, this is all we have right now, is Chemek's Tour Guide, and it's about the Bowser Challenge. And so the Bowser Challenge is what the 20-player mode is. So the mini games in between are this, like Bowser's a kaiju in a city, and you're throwing bombs at them and stuff, it'll come up here. But there's also appears to be smaller mini games that you can do in the interim. I don't know why it's so choppy. I apologize, everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm not quite sure how the whole system works. But yeah, here's the kaiju section that I was referring to before. So you will run around, you have these cannons, and you pick up bombs, and you're trying to just blast Bowser's health away. And all 20 of you appear to be working towards the same goal of defeating Bowser. I don't know how this works into the turn element play per se. At the moment, they don't really show that. They just kind of show like this happens, and then also this happens, right? It looks really exciting. And there's other like mini games like this where like Bowser just we saw this mini game already, and as you can see, there's Pauline. This is one of the game previews that the people saw and were like, wait a minute, Pauline, what do you mean Pauline's here? Yeah, and here's a screenshot of what it looks like, how people move forward. I guess everybody moves at the same time, which makes sense. It would take forever if you just sit there and watch each person roll the dice and do their turn, use their item, So I'm really excited for this mode. Some other modes or let's look at the other. I think we go here. It's either here or the map. I forget where the maps tab is. This is the mini game. So here's some of the newer mini games. These are I think these are the motion based ones that they're showing off specifically because they're like, oh yeah, remember guys, we do have motion controls. The motion controls are definitely here still. These seem to be like the mini game modes. In previous Mario parties, you could do like, instead of the main game board, you could do like mini game rushes, or where you work with the player, you play like a little sub game within it, and it's like, oh, whoever wins the most mini games gets points, and this appears to be one of them. It's like a 2-player one. Same thing with this undersea one, and I'm sure there's a free play. There's always a mini game free play mode in every Mario Party. I have yet to not see one of those. In terms of the maps, I think it's the Raceway and this Goomba Lagoon that I'm the most excited for. It looks like the maps are pretty dynamic in this game, like across the board. Like on this map, there's like a rising and lowering of the tide that cuts off certain routes and makes it so it forces players to go one way versus another, which I find really cool. And then this volcano will also erupt, and it can hinder spaces. So you'll see here it puts like lava spots on these spaces, which I don't know what that means when you land on them, or maybe it's just like if you pass it, you get hot-footed and you like lose coins or something. And the Royal Raceway, the gimmick just seems to be zip around the track as fast as possible, as many times as you can, right? It doesn't look too terribly much bigger than every other Mario Party map I've seen, but if the gimmick is, get around as fast as possible versus like, oh, there's a certain spot of the map we need to get to, then that makes sense. The other one that looks awesome is this mall map. The mall map which we saw a big trailer about this in the last Nintendo Direct. And there's the flash sale gimmick, and there apparently is also this stamp gimmick where you can go around, you get stamps at kiosks, you go and you turn it in, you get a reward of some type. Yeah, it just looks awesome, to say the least. There's just so much going on here, and there just seems every map feels refreshing, and we get to revisit like old classics, like the old West Town from Mario Party 2. This is a classic Mario Party map. Yeah, it just feels refreshing, and like you were saying, Nate, it seems like they really are putting their all into this Mario Party, and it's like, man, this is sick. Especially when I didn't feel like we would get any more Mario Party on this console at this moment. So, anyways,
yeah. I mean, that's just looks great. I don't really know what else to say. Anyone else that want to comment on Mario Party?
I think it looks great. I'm excited for it. The maps look cool. New mini games. I'm all for it.
This is the first Mario Party that I'm picking up on day one since the N64.
Shame on you.
Well, I think that says a lot about this game, actually.
No, it does. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Obviously, there's been so many Mario parties, and you definitely run into some redundancies there. And I do feel like this is the first one in a long time, right? That really looks like it's setting itself apart from the rest of the Mario parties. The quality looks much higher. It doesn't look like a game that's coming out right at the tail end of a console life cycle
Yeah. Oh
just
my
to
God,
take
yeah.
advantage of the install base. You know what I'm saying? Like it's more than that. This looks like the kind of Mario Party that could maybe be the first one on a new console. And who knows? Maybe it was originally planned for Switch 2
Maybe.
had Switch 2 not been internally delayed as we know it based on that rumor. So you never know because it does definitely look like it's a cut above. I'm pretty excited for it, obviously, since I did pre-order it. I think it's gonna be fun. I do love the idea of the multiplayer. How you can get what were you saying, Nate? 20 people?
20. Yeah.
20 people. That's pretty awesome. And I
It
do
is.
think that would be fun to play with chat as well.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
And that the mall level, like when I first saw the trailer and they showed the mall level, that looked really fun. And I think I talked to you about this, Favlam, one of the times you were on, but don't they have like a shop in the mall where you can like buy stuff? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, it's not explicitly clear, but it looks like that at the very least, stars when they change locations, depending on the location, the price of the star changes, and they go on what's called flash sales. So I guess the price of the star can vary anywhere from its normal price at 20 coins down to I mean, we don't know. I would assume like 5 coins if it's if it's meant to be this like crazy, whoa, you gotta go rush to that spot and get it now,
Yeah.
which is a pretty cool concept in my opinion.
I thought so too, actually.
Mhm.
That intrigued me right from the get-go. I'm like, that's pretty cool that
Yeah.
there's like a flash sale, and I forgot. So thanks for reminding me that's what it was. But that you had to basically bolt over there to take advantage of it because like not everyone is going to be able to take advantage of the flash sale. It appears that it's whoever gets there first, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It appears, yeah, it's like first come, first serve, and then it moves on to the next store, just like any other Mario Party. It just yeah, it looks like all the maps have refreshing dynamics that aren't too gimmicky. Because that's the problem with some other Mario parties is that
I know.
they get very, especially like with the cars and everything else, they can become very gimmicky and very not like in Mario Party 9 and Mario Party 10. And it looks like there's a lot of options to the player of how they can set their terms with Mario Party. And you're more of an old school player and you want to have that classic Mario Party experience where it's super unfair and whatever, you could probably play the old Mario Party 2 map. You can set it that way versus if you want to try the new gimmicks and try the new things and see the new whatever, you can. That's what looks awesome about this. It feels like it's checking all of the boxes, it's appealing to every bit of the fan base, new people, new old people, and probably people who've never even played a Mario Party before.
Yeah,
So.
it's similar. It kind of reminds me of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe and all the options that they put into that game to where you can totally customize how you play Mario Kart and to the point that anybody can enjoy it. Like, for example, if you really want to be a purist on the track, as in like, hey, if I'm power sliding over the whole damn course and I'm just whooping everybody's ass, I shouldn't be taken out by a spiky shell just because like I shouldn't just because I'm doing good, I shouldn't have to deal with the spiny shell, right? And so I've always kind of looked at it like that, like and then when they came out with all those options, I'm like, oh wait, so you can turn this off now, and now it's like a racing game first, and then items second. So that's really cool. Yeah, I feel like they did that with, of course, Mario Kart. They did that with Smash. The amount of options you can do in Smash is immense. And then Mario Party now. So this is good. This is how it can appeal to everybody. Sell more copies. I like the direction.
Yeah, agreed. There is mixed feedback on the return of hexes from Mario Party DS. Just within the fandom, just because they were Basically, like a hex would permanently change a space to something. Basically, you could permanently change like a blue space to a -3 or minus a star or something like that. Versus like in the GameCube games, when you would hex a space, you could still remove it, or there are ways to get around it. So they brought the hex back. We don't know to what extreme. Like we don't know if it will subtract stars again like before. It doesn't give them to anybody. It just gets rid of them. It just says boom, gone. So we'll see how that goes. But I like the hexes. I'm on that. I'm on Team Hex. So
I like them too.
I'm an agent of chaos. So whenever I play a Mario Party, I don't play to win. I play to cause the most pain.
That's fun.
I feel that.
Which is
Yeah.
the best. Which is the way it ends up. Usually helps you win. So
I think they brought allies back too, didn't they?
Yeah. So like from Mario Party 7 when you can team up and play together. Yep.
They're like 5-player mini games, and like if you win, you get that ally, and it like doubles up everything, the negative and the good. You buy a star, you can get 2 stars if you have the coins for it.
Yeah,
stuff like that. So
cool.
Also negative, like something bad happens, it takes twice as many coins from you or whatever. But obviously people focus on the fact that, hey, if I have a lot of coins, I want to double up my stars if I get a chance. So that's a really cool mechanic that they brought back, and obviously have exclusive 5-player mini games. So that'll be really fun too. Here's the thing: like, we're talking about all these mechanics that they brought back from older Mario parties that were never in the same Mario Party before, plus all these new mechanics. Like that's what really feels like they really put a surprising amount of effort in this, for this being the 3rd game in this franchise released on this system, and yet it looks so far ahead of the other 2 games they did, which is just insane. It's almost like it wasn't even made by the same team. Like it's crazy. I'm excited. Like this game's gonna go on. It's gonna probably be Nintendo's biggest holiday sale. It's probably gonna sell 10 million plus.
Oh yeah, easy.
So what was the second one? It was Super Mario Party. What was the second one?
Mario Party Superstars. And Superstars is it's like a remake conglomeration of Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't have everything from those games, but it's like they took everything from the Nintendo 64 Mario parties, and they took the best parts from all of them, remade them in modern graphics, and remade all the mini games, and then shipped it out as a, hey, here's something for the old fans, which it's so much better than Super Mario Party.
Was Superstars the one that got kind of the hate, or was that was Super Mario Party, right?
Super Mario Party, the first one.
Yeah. So Superstars was a good one.
Super felt very lacking.
Yeah, it felt lacking. It felt empty. It felt unbalanced, like character dice and like the mechanic. I mean, like you were talking about the allies. That's from Super, but the problem wasn't the allies. It was when you get the allies, then you get the good character dice, and it was just a whole like you had to this meta game.
There was too much.
Yeah, it was just too
overpowered. Not good game balance, but.
Correct.
I mean, again, the games are meant to be crazy, but like there's a little bit of balance. Otherwise, you always end up with someone who has no fun the entire time, and that's not the point of Mario Party. Everyone's supposed to have a good time, even if you lose.
Correct.
All right, Eric, you have any thoughts on Mario Party?
I don't play it much. I mean,
will now.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'll probably play with you a little bit, but I don't play Mario Party all that much. So
we did a lot when we were younger.
Yeah, no, we did for sure. But again, I don't game as much as I used to either. So there is that.
You know, I will drag your ass over here.
It does look fun. So
all right, chat. We'll make a super chat goal at some point to get Eric's ass over here to play Mario Party with everyone.
There you go.
Hell yeah.
Is there there's some new characters? I thought I saw like Pauline. Did I see that somewhere?
Yeah, I mentioned that earlier. So Pauline was, and again, they found her out through that website. They never did because they never did like an official announcement. And then once the people were like all over Twitter, like Pauline's back or Pauline's here, she was never back.
Dropped a 30-second trailer.
Okay. Yeah, then they dropped a trailer like Pauline's here, guys. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, we know. Got it, Nintendo.
It's like we've been there. We've been known, Nintendo. But thanks for the high res video of it. At this point, I could use that as B-reel.
Right.
There you go.
Yeah, for real.
All right. I think we can probably just get to our second topic. What are we rocking, Thunder Stash?
All right, guys. So I'm sure you saw some new Mario and Luigi Brothership news came out. And do we want to pull up the trailer?
Yeah, because I've only seen bits and pieces. I'd been so busy with the stuff, with the
Yeah,
Mario
yeah,
Party
same.
stuff, that I haven't had a chance
The
to really
original
digest
trailer or the new 30-second thing?
it. The new one.
Maybe the new 30-second thing. It might actually be easier, Nate, to just show your video that you just did. Because I watched it today, and you clipped it good.
Nice.
It's easier than just
The
clicking
glaze
on
is crazy.
each video, right?
I suppose everything is in there, I guess, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So there was a lot of me.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah, all right. Give me a second here.
So first off, I'm very excited for this game. I've mentioned it before, but the first Mario and Luigi game, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, I had that game pre-ordered back in the day when I was working at Best Buy in Circuit City. I was working at both jobs. That's how old I am. I think that helps to age me for you guys to know that I actually worked at Circuit City back in the day.
Famous.
But I had it pre-ordered, and it's funny. I was talking with Paul Gale on Twitter, and I first played that game on the GameCube through the GBA player. I don't know if you guys had that back in the day.
I still got that.
Oh yeah, so good. But I'm a big fan of these games, right? And I know they're not as mainstream as, say, the Paper Mario series, because these were portable only this whole time. And so this is its first time coming to consoles. And again, we didn't know if this was ever going to come back. I mean, I didn't have that on my bingo card, so to speak. Mario and Luigi making a return, because what was it? Alpha Dreams, right? That was the development studio. And they're no longer. So it was kind of like,
Nintendo just bought 'em.
yeah, we may not get it. We may not get a Mario and Luigi, and sure enough, here we are. So I am very excited for this game. What do you guys think as we're kind of just got these trailers playing?
Let me just say, I am very excited for this game. Like, super pumped. It's been at the top of my list since it was announced, honestly. I love these games.
I just thought it was funny that we found out today that the land is called Concordia.
And
When-
Concord.
Right.
Concord is
I thought the same thing. I thought I misread it. I thought I misread that, and I was like, what the heck?
Well, I saw someone put out a tweet on Twitter, and it was something like, Nintendo, you guys are a bunch of savages. Because of course, the same day that Concord news came out, this trailer dropped, and it was like within the same hour, probably.
Yeah.
It was pretty funny, actually. Like,
Super
what are the
hilarious.
odds of that, right?
Right.
So yeah, very exciting. On
Well,
this new trailer,
hopefully this one doesn't get canceled in a week. So.
Oh, this one definitely.
Oh, yeah,
They
right.
offer refunds, right? No,
yeah, that's wild.
God, the game looks. I mean, it just looks beautiful. I
Yeah,
don't
it
know
does.
where they found this processing power and this art, like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know where they found the gumption to get all these good ass looking games on Switch right at the end of its life cycle. But damn, these games look great. I mean, I'm being facetious when I say that. I know there's plenty of good looking games on Switch, but this game looks, I mean, art style wise, it looks like it runs fantastic. It's got so many amazing things going for it. I've only played Superstar Saga back in the day. I love that, and I love Paper Mario, and this game just looks beautiful. I'm so excited in so many levels.
Is it fair to say this is one of like the best years for the final year of a console? Because I feel like it is, whether
I
there's
think so.
remakes
That's-
and remasters
for
and stuff like
Nintendo,
that.
absolutely, yeah.
That's what I put on Twitter. Because I mean, even not just Nintendo, but I can't
I
think
think
of
period.
yeah, because you think of the last year of like PS2, it's I don't know, Winning 11, like Just
Well,
Dance.
the
Yeah.
last year of PlayStation 4 was pretty strong.
Yeah, PS4. Not one.
Yeah, it was. That's true.
And PS3 also, because
Yeah. Those had back to back, like really strong. And that's why it's like, well, from the AAA gaming space, you could maybe argue, okay, a bit more hype for those games.
Yeah.
But like Nintendo, just a published game every month, just like they've been doing this entire generation. And
Yeah, they
we don't
went-
have any like big AAA one, but dude, they're gonna have a 10 million seller in Mario Party, so Nintendo's cool. They're great.
Yeah, they went hard this year. And, I mean, the final years of the Switch, pretty awesome.
That's probably the big difference too. Regardless of budget, Nintendo was bringing bangers.
Yeah.
Pretty much throughout the generation for the most part, which is something that we really can't say for any recent platform. Not in recent history anyway. It's PS2 is probably the last one I could think where pretty much every type of game that you would get, whether it was a RPG or some other type of budget, we're trying to make our own version of Zelda kind of game. That was probably the last platform where you could get all those different types of games on one platform, and they all do at least decent. So
It's interesting because if we go back a year, right? Actually, a little bit more than a year, but I'm sure you guys all remember, we all kind of thought, I think collectively, that, hey, we're going to get Tears of the Kingdom, and then whatever else we get after that, we'll kind of go from there because we're probably going to be getting the Switch 2 soon, right? And a lot of people thought that there's probably not going to be any other major Nintendo releases. And then, of course, we got a ton of games last year in the second half. So then it's like, okay, that was awesome. But is that going to happen twice? And it's sure enough, it's literally happening twice.
Yeah.
The next year, we're getting another Zelda game. We're getting another Mario RPG game. We're getting a Mario Party. It's like, what in the world? And of course, we got some good third-party games coming as well. You know, like I expect Dragon Quest 3 to sell very well, especially in Japan.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna sell bonkers in Japan. They love Dragon Quest there.
They absolutely do. And you know, I gotta agree with you guys too. The art style in the game looks very, very nice. I think it fits the game well. It's not like cell shaded, not like the old cell shaded that we know from, you know, the cell shaded era when all the cell shaded games started coming out shortly after Wind Waker. But it's similar, I think.
yeah, Killer 7.
Yeah, it looks great. I think the game looks really nice. I am curious, and maybe how long you guys think the game will be. You think this is going to be big?
40 hours.
40.
I think
Damn,
it's gonna be
that's pretty
kind
long.
kind of extensive. I mean, it is an RPG, and like, I think I spent around that time on, well, maybe a little less on the other Mario and Luigi games. I don't know. I definitely put time into them though. I did like everything.
I was going to say it's probably a completionist run.
Maybe like 30. What do you think?
Have they ever been designed to be that much longer than Super Mario RPG? They're kind of like around the same.
Yeah, I
Or
always
give or
figure
take.
like taking around 20 hours just to
Yeah.
be like main quest. If you do a completionist run, well, yeah, you could toss on an extra 15, 20 hours, but
Here we go. According to howlongtobeat.com, I got it pulled up. The first Mario Party, just to beat the game, was 23 hours. Main story. 1,000 Year Door was 30. And then everything kind of hovered around 20 to maybe 29 hours just to get through the game.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But the completionists they get a little higher. Like I'm looking at here and they're saying Mario and Luigi Paper Jam to 100% at 60 hours.
Oh, geez. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot on the 3DS, especially if you got that 3D on.
Oh my god.
But I mean, I feel like I
Everyone just
spent
turn that shit off. Come on now.
40
Yeah,
hours
my
on that
eyes would
3DS
never.
remake. So I don't know. That could be like completionist thing.
Yeah. So I think main run between like 20 and 25. I think just to beat the story. But we'll see. I mean, here's the thing: we don't know because it's not made by Alpha Dream. Although supposedly there's a lot of Alpha Dream devs involved on it. But I'm just excited. The biggest thing to me Like one, the game looks incredible. By the way, it honestly, like as a big Mario and Luigi fan, it looks. I don't want to like start saying it's going to be like one of the better ones because we don't know yet. But the gameplay looks incredible, and what excites me the most about it is just the fact that it's a new game, meaning the series is going to continue when we thought it was dead 8 years ago. So
Also, I saw a tweet earlier.
Nintendo reviving IPs. That's what I like to see. Of
I
course,
saw a tweet earlier.
this is a
Yeah.
revival.
No, yeah.
But I mean,
I'm glad it's coming back. I mean, same thing with like just keeping the Mario RPG genre alive in general with the Paper Mario remake and RPG and in this now.
please say
but-
this isn't just an end of generation thing. I want
know,
all
right?
more RPGs on early Switch 2 life. Come on.
Mhm. But something I'm also really excited for was I saw someone say there isn't a Toad in sight, and I was like, hell yeah, there isn't. Hell yeah, there isn't.
Love it.
So are you not a fan of Toad?
No, I'm
you
fine
feel like
with
he's
Toad.
overused?
Yes, there
Yeah.
it is. And there is no better example of that than in Paper Mario Sticker Star and Color
Oh,
Splash,
God.
when that is literally
Yeah.
the only other character in the entire,
Yeah.
like side character in the entire game.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah. Which is, it's fine to have Toads. Like they could even have like, the Mushroom
totally.
Kingdom. That's fine. It's just like, it's kind of ridiculous going through the entirety of a story, having no variety to any areas, and the entire time you're
Yep.
talking to the same photocopy, literally.
Yeah.
That's how I felt about the what was it, the Piantas and Super Mario Sunshine.
Okay. Interesting.
yeah.
That's a hot
Th-
take, but I can kind of see where you're coming from.
Yeah,
That's
they
how
were
I
the
felt
locals,
about
so
it back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah. I
I'm
feel
like,
like,
I
because
can't
back
get
in the day
into
they
it.
were brand new. Like they weren't like, because Toads we've seen in other games, you know what I mean? But I could definitely see what you mean though, because I think they can become redundant towards the end of it. At least the Nokis are there too. They have so they have some variety, but overall, I get I'm picking up what you're putting out.
Yeah, I more or less I remember playing it, and I was in high school, and I'm like, you know what? I could just tell that these characters are never going to be in another Mario game.
Yeah.
You can just tell that back in high school, like there's nothing unique about this. They don't really feel like they fit in to the Mario universe. I'm not connecting here, and if I'm not connecting, I feel like I'm not the only one.
They're actually in Superstar Sluggers and in
I was
some
going
of
to
the
say
Mario
they
Kart
are
games.
they are in a few things, but yeah.
somewhere in Super Smash Bros. Somewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Actually, Thunderstash. Sorry, I can just see the Twitter people right now.
Oh man. All right. I think that means we could probably move on to our next topic. This topic is probably gonna be the longest one because like every time Switch 2 comes up, it's nothing but like an hour-long convo. It just is what it is. Even though the conversation doesn't really feel like it's shifted a whole lot, it's just more evidence just keeps piling up, basically. But you know what? I'm not leading the topic for once. So Shadow Fox Infinite, what are we talking about?
Yeah, so the gist of it was, I don't know if we can, I don't really have the tweets on hand right now, but yeah, like Chris Drain from GameIndustry.biz, he was tweeting about Switch 2 coming. Basically, he was retweeting somebody else saying, hey, I think I heard that this is coming and whatnot. And David Gibson put in some tweets talking about it. Andy Robinson from VGC said he wouldn't bet his house on it. Some just a little stuff, a little back and forth here and there. But the main point, you put out a video earlier today talking about Poseidon, talking about their production and whatnot ramping up. So yeah, they're doing that. I don't know, like tangentially related right now. I don't know if you guys paid attention today, but Nvidia just posted a mega loss today. It kind of affected the stock market and stuff. So I don't know how that's going to affect the brand of production going on, and TSMC was also affected as well. So, but as far as assembly goes, Poseidon is apparently projecting to spend more, 2 billion to almost 3 billion yen total on increasing assembly. So, and if that's happening like right now or whatever, then it's pretty much going to be something is going to be announced before it ends up leaking. Because if they're putting them together, then somebody's going to take a picture, and it's only a matter of time before stuff is leaked out. So you might as well go ahead and make an announcement before that kind of stuff happens. Because anybody knows Foxconn back in the day, that's how Semi-Accurate got all the information about the original Switch way back in almost April or May of 2016, before any of the other news outlets were able to officially drop it. I guess with an embargoed or something. So they weren't able to officially, I think it was it Eurogamer that I think they were the first outlet that officially announced, hey, we heard about this thing and what it's going to be. So if everything goes the same way that it is now, they can't risk any production happening in the cell phone world without having to make an announcement. Just go ahead and get it out there and beat the bullet there. So between David Gibson, I think you put on here, he said by Q3 of that fiscal year.
Yep.
They invested $3 billion total.
And they have the same fiscal year as Nintendo. So that's coming up.
So here. And Nintendo already said they're already in the middle of R&D like last year and this year. So they're obviously spending money on something. So between that and all their partners here in China, I believe, and Taiwan. So between those three locations, something is being built. Now, the question at that point is what date is that going to be? That's the magical. I mean, I already wrote on my notes again when I saw this. I was like, yeah, I'm still team October. I know most people were like, oh, September, we got a couple of weeks, maybe they'll announce something. But I'm thinking Nintendo is going to stick to the original script that they did with Switch, even though I know things are kind of going back and forth from there. But I'm pretty sure the R&D as far as like chipset design and all that has been nailed down for at least a year now. So as far as production, it's just when are they going to press go and start having hands put stuff in boxes at this point? So I don't know. And what we're going to see, who knows? Because Nintendo is a lot of the times it's not even what the silicone is what they do with it. Because the last thing I was thinking when you said we have detachable controllers, I wasn't thinking you'd be able to feel an ice cube in your hand. That was the last thing I was thinking that they were going to do that with motors. But I mean, who knows? Who knows what the new gimmick is they try to put together? It's got to be different some type of way. So it can't just be more graphics.
Yeah, it would be strange if it's just more graphics. There's probably something like I think for like the primary use case, yeah, it'll be a more powerful system that can do everything the Switch can, but there'll be like that extra thing. The extra thing may or may not become a big deal because you don't really know. Like, is it just going to be a camera? Okay, well then most games probably won't use that, so it's not as big a deal. But then maybe does that mean there'll be voice chat or video chat local on the system? That would be kind of cool. Because again, every other platform has that.
Or
not
just Discord integration. Like, come on now.
Yeah.
Let's be real. Let's be real.
Discord would be great.
Discord would be nice. But yeah, like, you know, the biggest reason that people are even talking about it, there's like two things that came up. Obviously, all the, you know, it was Christopher Drink and Andy Robinson. They both kind of alluded that basically a bunch of journalists are hearing that there's going to be some sort of news this month. And even Andy Robinson, he was the one that specifically was like, yeah, a bunch of us are hearing this stuff, but I'm not going to bet my house. Because it's like basically saying, hey, how many times have we said Nintendo's going to do something and then it's fucked up. So like, yeah, we're hearing something this month, but it might not be this month. So whatever. But I mean, I guess the general takeaway from that is, well, something must be happening soon if they're even hearing whispers. Because once the whispers come, that's usually when it's smoke. Something's going to be happening here. But the biggest thing was clearly the Hoseidon thing. Like, they are the main assembler of the Switch, and it literally no one talked about it because no one pays attention. Thanks, David Gibson, for bringing them up. They are investing 3 billion yen in their third quarter towards Nintendo, specifically towards stuff for Nintendo, new warehouse, new automation equipment, new. Why are they doing all this new stuff? Well, clearly they're making something new for Nintendo, putting something together. Now, they don't make the components, they're the assembler, but that's the thing. That's where the leaks come from, is from the assembler. So if they're starting to assemble the system here coming up in October, November, December, well then, yeah, leaks are going to happen at some point in October. We're going to get an image of the system out of the warehouse. It happens like every single time. Everything leaks. So right now it's just components. Like we heard last month, there was like one component manufacturer that was maybe going into mass production for a power component for the system, and that's cool. But that's not putting the system together. Like getting a little picture of a little power thing isn't gonna like excite the internet. So those like never leak, but the fully assembled systems almost always do. I mean, even for Nintendo, like think about it, we had leaks for like the Switch OLED, the Switch Lite. We have both of those leaked with images before Nintendo announced them. Granted, at the time we were hoping the Switch OLED was a Switch Pro, but it is what it is. And then we had like the Tears of the Kingdom Special Edition. That one leaked, but like a couple months before they announced it, and everyone was like, "Is that real? Is it not real?" Dude, we even had the box leak for crying out loud.
Chad, is this real?
Is this real? Like, and everyone's like, this can't be real. Like, we've never had a retail box leak before. Yeah, well, first time for everything.
You never know.
Yeah, you never know. So, like, once something is being assembled, there's thousands of people that now have access to it. Something's gonna leak. It just is what someone's gonna take that screenshot, throw it on a Chinese Taiwan forum, and it's gonna get out to the internet. It just is what it is. And most of the time they tend not to get caught since they just keep doing it. So whatever. Maybe the companies just don't really care that much. I have no idea. But what I will say is you got to get out ahead of that. Like for all the people that talk about how like, they wouldn't announce it this year, the holidays, man, they got to get out ahead. It's going to leak anyways. Yep. And let me tell you, the people looking to buy a Switch might not even be aware the Switch 2 is coming anyways, because you're only aware if you are in the like online space where you're like basically intentionally trying to know. And I realize an announcement trailer from Nintendo is a bigger deal, but like if you think about this, doesn't their YouTube channel only have like 13 million subscribers? They've sold 140 plus million Switches. Let's just be real. Most of the people playing Switch aren't following Nintendo's stuff. They don't know what Nintendo's doing. They just go to the store or they see an ad on the eShop and they just buy shit as it comes out. So at this point, this is like their 7th or 8th holiday. Look, anyone looking to buy it this time, they're not paying attention to the new systems coming, and they probably wouldn't want to buy the new system day one either. Anyways, it's going to be more expensive. The games might be $70, and you're going to have a lot of discounted and crazy discounts on some of the best sellers this upcoming holiday. Maybe even a discount on the Switch. We'll see. I keep crossing my fingers for it, but they keep selling a couple mil a quarter, so why the hell would they discount it? I mean, from a business perspective, as a gamer, yeah, dude, this thing should have been discounted years ago. But dude, they keep selling millions of them every quarter. What are they supposed to do? Just we don't like money. Yeah. Like, market determines value. That's just the way it is.
Exactly.
So in the end, I just think that everything is sort of lining up. And then there was one other point, but I can't remember it. So someone else want to go right now?
I'll mention something.
I got one big question, but either one of y'all can go.
Okay. One thing I just wanted to mention was, I think you kind of mentioned a little bit too in one of your videos, Nate. But again, like with the mass assembly, the amount of money it would cost, right, to go into mass assembly and then let all of these components sit in a warehouse that you're paying money on. There's no way Nintendo would do that. Absolutely no way. They are way too seasoned. They've been doing this for a long time. Even before consoles, before they were doing the arcades, they've been in this game for over a century. If you think about it, what was it, since 1889, and they know how to squeeze every cent out of things. And when you operate that way, there's just no chance that you go into mass assembly for components to sit there. There's just no chance whatsoever. And when you mentioned that, Nate, I was just thinking about that. I'm like, there's just no way.
And
it's got to be coming any minute.
If you think about the genius things that they do as well, like even stuff that they mass produced decades ago, they still throw back out there. That's the only reason we have an adapter for the Switch for GameCube. They had extra stuff laying around. They're like, hey, well, we'll build this in the warehouse. They had extra stuff laying around from when they used to service NES and SNES. So like, hey, we'll make NES Mini. We'll make it. Like they know exactly what to do as far as operational stuff goes. So they're logistics specialists when it comes to that, and they make sure they squeeze every penny out of everything that they have. So My big question in the room is kind of outside of Nintendo, but they've been directly partnered for a long time, and their website, their press releases, everything have been quiet for like the last 3 to 4 years, and I really want to know what they got going on, and that's Macronix. So I want to know, like, what are these cartridges going to look like? Because that has to be, they have to have some type of medium to where they're doing this. It's not going to be an all digital console. So, and yeah, they won't make a disc that small, so that's not happening. But they've been really quiet for a very long time, and typically they will make some type of press release saying, "Hey, this is what we're doing for the year," or whatever. But they've been extremely quiet.
Do you think that they go along with like the 3DS where they add like a notch to like the actual cartridge or something like that, something very minor?
Yeah, that's possible.
That's what I think. Yeah, I think it's got to be like something pretty minor so that obviously the Switch 1 games can fit inside of it as well and be backwards compatible. So
that's where I would put my money.
Yeah,
I think that's
agree.
the most likely thing. And of course, we've seen this in other areas, right? With the DS, the 3DS. It makes sense. We saw it, of course, with the GBA. You know, obviously you could still fit Game Boy games in there as well. So Nintendo's not new to this. I know, what was it? Obviously, Mike Odyssey, friend of the channel, of course, of the podcast, and he likes to dig in to all the patents. And I remember he had shown one that was a cartridge related patent. And it was basically, what was it? The transistors on the back of the cartridge. There was a patent for a cartridge that had like more transistors, which could very well be like a Switch 2 cartridge.
More pins. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, more pins. Thank you. And so I saw that. I'm like, I think that's the most likely thing, because if we were to take a poll, we all believe that it's going to be backwards compatible. We all believe that Switch 2 is going to still have physical games, no doubt. Nintendo likes the physical presence at retail. And, you know, if Xbox gets out of physical games, which I believe they are, I think they're already on their way out of the physical presence, at least the storefront. It's very small for the last few years wherever I go. And we've talked about this before on the channel that, you know, Sony might want to follow suit at the same time. That way they can kind of share the heat, share the blame, so to speak, share the hate that they're going to get. And, you know, it is what it is. It's a direction, of course, that gaming's going in. I will support physical until the last day.
Yeah.
But I'm an old head, and I know the direction, of course, that it's going in. But I think Nintendo would love to have the physical presence alone in the retail space. So given all of that, yeah, I think it's still going to be a cartridge slot, probably with a notch would make the most sense. And it would probably be the most cost effective, right?
Yeah.
Versus having like 2 slots.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't see them doing the DS over again with the 2 different slots.
If they do 2 slots, I want it to be for the micro SD cards. I want to put 2 of those in.
Right.
Oh, that would be nice.
Terabyte of storage. That'd be
But
sick.
let's be real. This is Nintendo. That will never happen.
Yeah,
You put it on cheap cameras these days. You can get 2 full SD card slots. I know they're not going to do
that
it.
would be nice, but
It
yeah,
would be
I'm
very
thinking
nice.
I'm thinking more of so at some point Macronix made it a little bit cheaper for you to purchase their NAND flash module. So they had they could stack a little bit more on like basically effectively their own version of VNAND. So you have a little bit more storage capacity per pin, so you can get a 300 400 gigabyte cart for the same price that you could the 32 gig carts for the Switch, which apparently were expensive per the developers in at the time, but I don't want to take their word for it because these guys didn't want to buy a 16 gig cart. They would just put it on an 8 gigabyte cart and make you download the rest. So
I don't know if that's going to change.
Yeah.
Even like if they
It's
go to the 3D
bullshit.
NAND and it's a little bit cheaper, in the end,
and these games are getting bigger anyway. It's just that for third party, it's going to be dumb no matter what. But for Nintendo, I think it's 64 gigs, maybe a little bit more than that will probably be the sweet spot for them for their games because they don't do big,
what is
sweeping
the
texture sets. I don't know what it is about that.
what is the biggest like file size Nintendo game on Switch? Like Nintendo published.
There's someone on
Is it
Twitter
still
who
Donkey
tracks
Kong?
all of this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I know there's some really big third party ones, but but I don't know if Nintendo had much bigger than like 15 gigs.
You know,
Yeah,
I
I
will
think it's
say
still
Tears of
that,
the
Tropical
Kingdom
Freeze.
was the biggest, right?
That
would make sense.
that Nintendo developed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tears of the Kingdom was, but I think published. It might have still been Tropical Freeze. It might have still been.
Which is
Oh,
wild,
really?
right?
Oh man,
That makes
no
no
Wii U
sense
game.
at all.
dude, whoever they had port that, man. Come on,
That's
get on
crazy.
Nintendo's compression. What are we doing?
Yeah.
They saved nothing on that cart.
It was what 20. It was like 23 gigs or something like that on Wii U. I
Oh
believe.
my god!
Oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Okay,
Wow.
well, that was definitely not a Nintendo internal studio that ported that one.
Wow.
Jeez,
That's crazy.
So yeah, it's
a great game. Oh man, it's wild.
Yeah, so most of Nintendo's games barely you're talking about 16 gigs max because they don't,
Kingdom is 18.2.
I just don't
Wow.
like I don't get the point
Okay.
of needing to build a game where every single texture you see never repeats. Like what is the point of making a texture set if it's never going to repeat
We're
again?
also in this like modern era, like FSR is now coming over to PlayStation and Xbox, like fully, like you're getting the good support for it. Obviously, we have heard rumors forever that DLSS is coming. We've been using some weirder forms of FSR, the early ones on Nintendo. A lot of people are now using all these upscaling technologies. I don't really like some of the giant file sizes that are in like the Call of Duty downloads that are always like 100 plus gigs every gen is just 4K texture packs. It's like, but do we even need those? Why aren't we just using the available technologies for upscaling? And like people can't tell the difference most of the time anyways. Like I'm not saying don't have a version of that available, say for like the high-end PC users that want to go native. But for consoles, like we're not going to notice much of a difference, whether it's native 4K or if you're talking even 1440p or 1080p with good upscaling.
Or 900p at this point, just render internally at 900 and then scale up that way.
Yeah. And we've seen with like DLSS, like they can take 900p to 4K. It's very, like you got to be pixel peeping to really even notice that there's much of a difference.
Yeah.
Because
I sure hope that comes.
Have gotten so damn good, Like that's the big thing. They just got to reduce. They just stop putting 4K textures on consoles, guys. We just don't need it.
What about 8K?
We're
texture?
native on the bot. Okay, native. 4K. Yeah, it's
8K is just okay. Yeah, like, what are we doing at this point?
When they put 8K on the PlayStation 5 box, I was like, all right. I mean, Blu-ray.
Yeah, right.
I don't know what else
When I picked that up that day, I was like, okay, this is not real.
Isn't there like two
Same.
indie games that play at 8K technically? I think on PS5, like two of them.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was funny though, when I got my PS5, of course, when the pre-orders came out and I saw 8K on the box, I just laughed. I'm like, that's such horse shit. I know, classic. I will say with the cartridges and all that, just being on Twitter a lot and just kind of seeing the comments that people leave when a Switch game is announced and say like Wario 64, puts out a pre-order link and on the box it says, in big text, download required.
Yep.
When you look at the comments, everyone's like, well, not buying it physical. Like so many people don't want to buy it physical. And I understand that. I get it. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I mean, personally, I'd rather have everything on the cart.
Yeah.
But I gotta wonder, like, do these companies, do these third parties, do they have anybody, on the roster that follows social media? And I gotta imagine they do, but that follows it and sees what people are saying. Like, hey, we don't want to buy it if it's not on the cart.
Yeah.
I think they do, but it'll take me to a dirty place. I don't want to go there, but unfortunately, that's the way money works. So investors don't care. They don't, and they want their money back every quarter. Unfortunately, that's the
true.
way.
It is.
Somebody
way it
should think of
goes.
the shareholders, for Christ's sake.
Yeah. Unfortunately,
But
the industry has come to that. Ever since media started bumping up gaming and say, "Hey, they're as big as Hollywood." Ever since that started, all these venture capital firms start coming into the industry, and they have
Shareholders-
nothing to do with
That's true.
gaming, but they're here.
That's true.
Shareholders ruined AAA gaming.
Before it
who's
used
the-
to be 3DO, it used to be 3DO and
Oh, yeah.
old EA that used to be the dirty investors that came in and did stuff like that. But they at least had studios that they were responsible for. And now these new guys coming in, they also buy corporate property. Like they don't care about any of this gaming stuff at all. It could die today. They'll go on to the next project to go invest on. So I hate it, but that's where we are right now with Embracer and some of these other firms.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up. Thanks for saying that. Was Embracer Group. As you were saying that, I'm like, "Dude, that's totally Embracer Group."
They just acquire.
Yeah, just acquire and then just shut down studios whenever.
They weren't planning. They were supposed to get an investment from Saudi Arabia that fell through. So now we got to sell it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you had a business plan that relied on one investment. Well, bad business plan.
Yep. I know. We'll have Tiger Woods at the Live Golf Tournament. We'll do that game. We'll have those and just that's exactly how that's going to go. Unfortunately, but I mean, what else? I hate to say that, but Nintendo's like the last of a dying breed with regards to being a very large publisher that's able to create a product without having to hold their hat in their hand to make things like that happen, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So if you want a big game or you want a decent game from any other publisher or studio, that's what you're dealing with. And they're not going to hear you as the low man on a totem pole on Twitter saying you don't like these downloads. They're like, well, we save money because we buy carts by the millions. And what we're not going to do is buy 64 gigs worth if it means that rest of that money could go in my pocket. So there it is, unfortunately, which affects other things too, to include development and stuff like that too, because a lot of the times these studios have nowhere to go after they complete a project, no matter how smart or good they are with programming and technology and stuff like that. So that stuff doesn't get kept up, and that's another sad part of the way things go. Back in the day, if you were a good programmer, you stayed on staff. Like they needed you there, and you became a senior guy and you moved up in the company. Now you're done making that game. You could have been the best person making that game. Now you're looking for a job.
Yeah. I mean, look at what just happened with the Visions of Mana team. Like what?
Yeah,
the day it came out, right?
That
the day
that
it
upset
came
me
out.
so bad.
Yeah.
That game is phenomenal too.
Yeah.
My first thoughts were Nintendo, please open the paycheck, please. Let's buy that studio now.
Go get them.
I mean, it's just crazy to me.
Jeez.
Yeah, it's wild that it's become basically industry has become gig work, and it's so unfortunate. It's happening to a lot of other industries too. That's why if you're a video game developer and you're not part of some sort of SAG-AFTRA or some sort of labor union, again, please organize your workplace, organize your labor force, because it's you need that bargaining power so you can have good workman's comp and you can have a successful career in the industry. If you can't get in with a bigger studio like Nintendo,
more of
It's
them
like
are
stable.
joining unions, which is I guess a good thing, obviously, with the state of gaming in 2024. It's sad, man. So many people losing their jobs. I got tweets today. I can't remember who, but somebody else shut down today too. So it seems like an everyday thing. I swear that I load up Twitter X and there's news about a studio.
Is that other PlayStation studio where they're before the game even comes out, they're already cutting employees?
Yeah.
I think I saw that story today. Hit my timeline.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Long good after they just had Concord bombs. So,
well, like here's the thing that I think about is like people are excited about games. I wanted to get into the game industry and I held back for a few reasons, but why would anybody in 2024 want to pursue, designing games, being a game developer? Like, we're not going to have anybody left. Nobody wants to get into a business where you could lose your job in a day.
Maybe they just dream of being the next Notch, come up with the next Minecraft solo project.
Yeah.
I mean, indie is the way now.
That's the way to
It
go, yeah.
truly is. But like for people that want to be able to have a job where they have benefits and the whole nine and stuff like that, like why would you even want to get into that when this is the problem? And everybody sees it. I see it hit mainstream news on some of these topics. So it's unfortunate.
I think the industry just bet big in the wrong direction.
They did. They chased trends.
Like I'm tired of like. Obviously, I have my bias for Nintendo and everything, but like hearing people be like, "Hey, man, Echoes of Wisdom isn't a AAA game," I'm like, "Motherfucker, 15 years ago it would have been. Why isn't it now? Because it's not $200 million budget. Sorry,
or it's not a 3D game.
It's a AAA game,
something right because it's going to sell better than a lot of these other games.
Like Hades was
quality thing. Now it's like if you don't spend $100 million plus, you're not a AAA game. Well, then I guess Nintendo has Tears of the Kingdom.
Well, it's like the general consensus is people think 2D games are just cheap, like just cheap
They
games.
do.
like no,
Like
that's not the case.
prime example, guys. I'm sure you remember this, but 97, right? A big developer decided to make their first game for the PS1.
Yet, so no, I don't.
I know, but you'll know the game. You'll know the game. But they decided to go 2D when everyone was going 3D, and that game's Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Right?
Yes.
And everyone's like, "Oh, they're going 2D." Like, do I really want to play this? Like, we're in the future now, man. Everything's 3D, and when you play it, it's like, holy shit, this is a masterpiece, absolute masterpiece. Yeah. But it gives me those vibes, Zelda, right now. Like the way some people view the game as it like not being this big AAA game because it's not, this 3D open world game, the third person perspective. It's like, that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is the game, man.
Man. Yeah. But the quality of the experience. Always. I mean, there's going to be people that hated Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. They're going to love Echoes of Wisdom just because it's different. And they brought dungeons back. Also, we'll get to that in obviously the next topic. But it's just kind of, we're looking at Switch 2 as being this system that is going to potentially get mostly everything. From what we're hearing, anyways, a lot of developers are very, very excited for it. Probably because it's within the power range, most likely, that a lot of them are comfortable putting their games there. For better or worse, I know Shadow Fox Infinite over there will argue till the cows come home. Just optimize your games better, motherfucker.
Yeah. It hurts. It hurts to see it because some of the things they complain about, and I'm like, wait, what? Like, this wasn't a problem like 4 years ago. Why is it an issue now? These are, if you think about the things that people had to do to make a PS3 port work coming from 360. And you're complaining because you're missing one available CPU thread on like Nintendo Switch bringing your thing across. Like those are things to me that just bewilder me. Or you're complaining about the Xbox Series S because it's missing the extra 6 gigs of RAM, and I'm like, you're not even developing for the same resolution. Like you're developing for 4 times less the resolution on the Series S. So why do you need all that extra RAM again? What are you doing with your game? Those are the things that it kind of bothers me when I hear some of those complaints. And I'm like, coming from developers, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what tools are you using to where you have to chew up this much RAM and this much resources when before, like, this was never an issue. It was 12 gigs for the Xbox One X, and that was supposed to be the 4K definitive experience right before those they got phased out or whatever for the 9th gen platforms. Like, what are we doing?
I think it's mostly corporate pressure. I want to be a little fair to them. I don't think they get the time to optimize the way they want. Like, it's like, we got to make our money. We got to make it now because they're spending $100 to $200 million a project. Like, we need our money back. With
the tools.
Like you look at Nintendo, like their games are mostly, with a few exceptions, pretty highly polished. I mean, look, Tears of the Kingdom was done a year before it came out, but they said, no, we need a year to polish to make sure we're not going to drop this thing, and people are going to be bitching that there's, things are breaking here, or this is lagging when you're fusing everything together. And like, there's still frame drops, but they got it to a point that it at least felt, well, yeah, there's frame rate drops, but it just feels similar to the drops we had in Breath of the Wild. So it feels more acceptable to the people that are going to buy the game. But that took a year of polish, even though the game was done, because even look at now, like we're not having any major Pokemon game this year. And the next one that's even announced right now could end up being a holiday title next year. We don't even know when that game's coming out. It's just sometime in 2025 with Legends EA. And for the first time, it looks like Game Freak is taking their time to do their project. And that could have been because, hey, Nintendo got embarrassed. They had to issue a public apology a week after release because the game was embarrassing their platform. We published this, and all we're seeing on the internet is bitching about falling through the world and game bugs. And like, what the fuck are you guys doing over there? No, we got to apologize. We're sorry. Nintendo might have finally flexed their muscle with Pokemon and say, hey, you got to get on your ass because you are representing our brand too. Everyone thinks Nintendo when they think Pokemon. Dude, this doesn't meet our quality standards. So, but Nintendo's just different in that way. Like they actually want polished products out. This, by the way, this doesn't say that other people don't have polished products. Like Spider-Man 2 came out, I thought it was pretty well polished. Really enjoyed that on PlayStation 5 last year. But it's just one of those multi-platform companies. They have to deal with a multitude of different platforms, and I just don't think they're given the right amount of care to do it. So it's always like the one platform that they originally developed for. That's the one that always runs the best. Yeah, that's the one that runs the best. And the other ones, they aren't given the budget and the time to do it. And that gets back to the whole problem with we're just spending too much on the games. Not everything has to be these $200 million, insane projects. There's only a few IPs out there that can justify stuff like this. Like The Witcher, the next Witcher game could probably justify it because of how well The Witcher 3 sold. GTA. Yeah, GTA could do 200 million copies, 180 million copies. They could justify whatever budget they want. They want to spend $1 billion, dude. They made way more than $1 billion on it, dude. The next game Epic Games wants to do in the Fortnite series. You know how much money Fortnite makes them? Yeah, they can go with a massive budget. But hey, when you're bringing out a new IP like Concord, maybe don't do 8 years and 200 million chasing trends. Maybe try smaller budget games. Why are we not getting more Sly Coopers kind of games? Why aren't we getting more Crash games?
It's all
Bring back more games
greed.
like Astrobot, like classic
Astrobot, dude.
PlayStation properties.
Astrobot is finally, to me, like a turn in the right direction for the Sony side of things. Hopefully, they keep making some more stuff like that.
Because Sony used to do like weird, kind of random, unique games, Parappa the Rapper and things like that. Like they used to experiment and they put out really awesome classic games that we all love now, but they just ditched that. And I feel like it happened when primarily Sony went Western with their video game development and focused less on the Japanese side of things. I feel like that transfer over to the Western studios really did Sony wrong, honestly. That's how I felt for a while.
Sure.
So.
Chasing the cinema look, and you don't have I would say even cinema doesn't even have the cinema budget now, but you get the idea. Hey, we want to look just like a movie. Do you?
Yeah.
Because people are playing this. It's not a thing where it's a game. Yeah, you don't want
to like the Heavy Rain thing. Like you're either really, really into what Heavy Rain is, which is basically a movie, or you're not.
And I loved Heavy Rain. I thought it was well done.
Like I think games like that can exist. I think there's sometimes too many and not enough variety, which, by the way, has happened to be to Nintendo's benefit. It's probably one of the reasons why they sell so much. You can really, we just got a visual novel dropped about a serial killer by Nintendo.
Yeah.
That's the kind of variety Nintendo provides. Like, Nintendo doesn't care what mature. What are you talking about, man? We just had a serial. We have Bayonetta. They're starting to be like, hey, now we're going to start delivering for all types of genres in all different ways. And this actually is kind of interesting because when I was talking earlier about when they announced it this year would hurt holiday sales. One thing that will keep game sales really well is that backwards compatibility thing.
Yep. And
it's funny because Nate the Hate reclarified yet again today. There will be backwards compatibility. He said it over on a Reddit thread on this whole topic of the Switch 2 reveal stuff.
I wonder what made him think that, though.
Yeah, I wonder what made him think it. By the way, he's not that. PH Brazil's been in on it. Like he said it many months ago. He said it was going to have backwards compatibility. Nate the Hate said that it was being experimented with like 8 months ago, but experimented with is not the same as it's definitely in. And look, I mean, come on. I remember still back when it was a Modern Vintage Gamer that was going out there and being like, it might not have backwards compatibility. I might do it. Nintendo's history just says it's going to have backwards compatibility. What are we talking about?
The
And they're
only one that
like physical is still kind of a big deal, like 40% of
Yeah.
their sales. So
Yeah, I
Well,
did a response to that and what he was the logic there he was using because he was using his premise was, hey, if Nintendo doesn't have access to this hypervisor, they won't be able to change the way the kernel looks. And I'm like, Nintendo owns the kernel; they own the firmware. They can change it at any time, so they could change where either drivers load in user space or in kernel space, and they can change it on the fly. So they can make it however they want at building a new system from scratch anyway. If you're talking about modifying existing switches that are out there today, no, you cannot, obviously. But if you're building a new system from scratch, yeah, you can do that. There's no reason you can't do that.
yeah, and backwards compatibility isn't always clean. I mean, guys, like with the Wii U, they literally just put a Wii chip in it and ran it in a separate mode. That's not the cleanest way to do backwards compatibility. That was one of those, we can't really figure this out. We'll just throw this thing in because these parts are so cheap anyways. We don't care. But that's not the kind of backwards compatibility we want, right? We want it to just be natural, like it is, with all the modern day systems, and it probably will be. I don't really foresee that personally being a problem, and obviously the idea that there'll be upgrades and stuff like that—that's all up in the air. Who knows? But everything about the Switch 2 just seems to be shaping up really well. Like I had the hot chip challenge bet with my audience that it's going to be revealed this month. I don't actually know, guys, if it's going to be revealed this month. I've said this several times. I don't know jack shit about when this thing's being revealed. I just go, man, it just feels like time. It just feels like the time. It might be October. If it's October, hey, I'm excited for that too. And you guys get to be entertained by me torturing myself.
and I get the Poe.
You gotta have the hot chips.
Yeah, and then if it's not at all this year and they don't reveal it until March next year, all right, whatever, man. Here's the thing: Nintendo already told us that by March there's news. So we're like 6 months. Max.
It's coming. That's how we know. That's all we need to know. Yeah. And
That's the thing. Like the rest of this year, I was kind of mentioning that to you, Nate, earlier today on Twitter. But the rest of this year is going to fly by.
oh my
And
god, yeah.
I've always said this too. Like the older you get, the quicker the days go by. And I swear it's true. I swear it is. The months, days, years, they go by so fast. It's like we're in September. We got football starting this week. We got playoff baseball coming soon. We got NBA coming, but we got all the games coming because this is when it all goes down. From September to Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Because nobody really releases their games in December. And I know we got one big release this year in December. When I say we, gaming in general, we got Indiana Jones, right? But I'm going to presume that most people are going to be playing that on Game Pass and that they're not going to be going to a retailer to go pick up a physical edition of it.
I might buy the digital version. I haven't decided yet.
I'll probably get it on PS5 if I do pick up like a physical version, but I do have Game Pass. So, I'll definitely check it out. I'm a big indie fan. So I'm excited to play it and see how that turns out. But the thing is that everyone's going to be just so busy from like here till the end of the year. I think everyone's just going to be busy. These days are going to fly by, and the Switch 2 is going to be here before you know it. That's the thing. Yeah, we got plenty of games to play. And whether you're just a Switch owner or you're multi-platform, or if you got old consoles, like I've been playing so many retro games lately too. And there's just plenty of gaming to go around right now. A lot of good games coming out. So it's going to be fun, and it'll be here soon. But I do still think we're going to hear something about Switch 2 here in September.
Yeah. I think if it's not September, if it's not by the end of this month, it'll definitely be really early next month.
Yeah, I think if it's not September, it's going to be October 2nd. And then it's going to be the same day as the Nintendo Museum grand opening. And that I could see it totally going down there.
Crazy.
It makes too much sense. Like how you only have one grand opening, right?
No, it does make sense.
Yeah, there's not going to be no new ownership 10 years from now. You know what I mean? Like, we're having our second grand opening. There's one grand opening. This is a new Nintendo Museum. It's taking, it's the museum's in the old Nintendo building too. from where they used to work, like where Miyamoto worked when he was younger. Like there's a lot of history in this building. And as we saw in the museum direct, a lot of people pointed it out, but there's something covered up.
Oh,
And-
really? Where?
Oh yeah, there's something with a big sheet over it. It's where they have all the consoles up top, right? And there's something clearly covered up.
Oh,
Come on,
that's
man.
crazy if they built in Switch 2 to the.
Yeah,
Well, why
that's
wouldn't they?
insane.
Why
Yeah.
I
wouldn't
mean, no,
they?
it makes sense. It makes, especially with if it's coming out within the year.
Yeah, and you can't
Wait.
allow the museum to be opened. Okay, let's say this. Hear me out on this one. Let's say hypothetically, they do have Switch 2 up there with all the consoles, but they have, a cloth over it. You can't open up the museum on October 2nd and expect that no one's going to be curious as to what that cloth is covering up. And if someone, God forbid, were to get a picture of that and run with the narrative, that ain't
Yeah.
good. Now, I will say this, that I think that's less likely to happen in Japan because honestly, they don't operate the way Western
Mhm.
civilization does. They're very respectful. I don't see that happening
Mhm.
in that sense.
I mean, I can see a
but-
tourist coming in there and doing it.
Exactly, because
fucking it up.
Yeah, because it's going to attract people from all over the world. I mean, I'm planning on going there next year in May for
Yeah.
my 40th birthday.
Oh yeah.
But I could definitely see that happening. So it's like if they do have it on display there, but it's covered up, you can't open on October 2nd and run that risk. You can't. So
Yeah.
I gotta imagine it's either going to be here in September, like the rumors are saying, or again, I could really see October 2nd because that just makes sense. Like, what better way to have a grand opening than to showcase a new console? And what if their plan all along is to showcase
Oh my god.
their new consoles at the museum? Like that's where they do the grand openings. That's where they film the Nintendo Directs for a new console. It just
That would
makes
be
sense.
some Apple type. That would be some Apple type stuff right there. And the segue to that, they definitely will not make an announcement on the 9th of September since Apple has taken over that day this year. So
Yeah.
my followers know in the chat, they know for the last since 2016 they have not announced anything on the same day. So basically since Nintendo visited Apple, they haven't. So
And I think that's good.
yeah.
There's no reason for it because it's like everyone in the gaming, the tech space, like everyone can prosper, in my opinion. So there's no reason to battle one another for headlines because everybody can win here. It's a huge market, and that's why I've always, even from being a kid growing up, in the NES era, but growing up with the Super Nintendo and the Sega Genesis console war, the original console war. It's like, man, I didn't even participate in that console war.
Right.
Because it's like, just enjoy everything, man. If you got both systems, enjoy them. Now, a lot of us didn't. And I didn't have both consoles at the same time because that was not commonplace back then. You got one console and you're lucky. You're lucky to have it.
I was like, also, weren't those they were like the same price as like a common console is now, but it's like like I'm saying, like in terms of percentage of value, like if you were to pay for a console of that degree today, you'd be paying like $500, $600, $700. Like that's how much they're worth in today's money.
Like back then, it would have been like $1,600 to get a Neo Geo.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like that's how insane
Classic.
of that, or that's how much buying power those consoles represented.
Yeah, if you owned a Neo Geo, your family was loaded.
Yeah.
$800 at launch. That's insane. So I had to wait a while to be able to get one of those.
Yeah, we rented it back in the day. Go ahead, Flam.
Eric, while you're on this side, can you approve my screen share? I think I see what you're referring to about the sheet. Is it this thing in the back left here?
I think so. Yeah.
That's
definitely
yeah.
Well,
It's like
there's that,
screen.
And then right here on the Switch section, there's a large empty area. Like there's no games or anything there. So that makes me wonder, maybe they're putting whatever the next, since Switch 2 is probably iterative, maybe they're putting like the initial stuff there, question mark. I don't know. That's just speculation, but I don't know.
That whole section over there with Switch 2 is just empty. It's just a giant replica Switch sitting up top up there.
Exactly.
That's
and
also
like,
kind of strange.
Yep.
From a design and like construction aspect, right? And everything that goes into doing a store launch. And if you guys have ever basically if you've ever opened a new store, for instance, I was in the restaurant biz for a very long time, and we did store launches, right? Where we do all the hiring, we do all the training, everything. And then, you launch the new location. Everything's built. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's ready to roll when you have that soft opening. So when the grand opening comes, you're ready to rock and roll. And with something like this, it's like with the Switch 2 perfectly aligning as far as the possible reveal, with it perfectly aligning with the grand opening of the museum, you don't think this happened by chance. It's not coincidence, man. Like,
probably not. Well, and
Nintendo's
it's
smarter than that.
Even further evidence just by like what appears to be the design of this room is like it goes in the time. It's like as you go around the room, it gets older, right? And if you get back to this scene, this is the newest thing, and this is the NES, the oldest thing. So it's like,
the disrespect of the Wii U, though, like you just completely omitted.
The Wii U is peak.
They want
Nintendo.
Dude. Wii U erasure is crazy.
And where's the Virtual Boy?
No Virtual
That's what
Boy.
I was wondering.
I'm sure it's in here somewhere. Right?
Yeah, but where's the Wii U for real? Like that's just disrespectful.
I'm sure they put the Wii U somewhere.
And they better have everything there, like the 64 DD. I want to see that there. I want to see the Panasonic.
The Satellaview.
Yeah, the Satellaview was on for a while over there too. I think they had a lot of.
I also love this here, the erasure of Mario Galaxy 2. They go to they go to these like 3DS games here, and then they got Wii U. See there, it's there. It exists.
What's the deal with skipping Mario or Galaxy 2?
I don't know, man. They don't like it for some reason.
Galaxy 2 was
for whatever reason.
My initial thought was that they wanted to release Mario Galaxy 2 as a standalone title.
That's what I thought too, but
because it's like, why would you omit it unless you're planning on releasing it down the line as a standalone or
what about Metroid Prime 2 and 3 remaster?
Yeah. Well, I still expect those to come out. I really do.
I
expect them to come out in alignment with Metroid Prime 4.
That's
because that has to be. It has to be part of the marketing push, because here's the thing. I grew up with Metroid Prime, the original Metroid. Some of us did, right? Like we were gaming and playing them back in the day. But we're in 2024. A majority of people playing Nintendo did not play the Metroid Prime games. Their first introduction to it was when Metroid Prime came out on the Switch. And I think Nintendo knows that you can't ask your user base to buy Metroid Prime 1 and play it, and then, oh, here's part 4. They're going to be like, whoa. How do we jump from 1 to 4? Where's 2 and 3? How do I play 2 and 3? Wait, you want me to buy a GameCube? Or you want me to buy a Wii and then buy this Metroid Prime trilogy? This game's expensive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and some people would be like, oh, well, the stories maybe don't matter, this and that. People aren't going to buy that. Like, they want, if there's a part 2 and a part 3, they want to watch part 2 and 3. They want to play part 2 and 3 before they play part 4. So I have to imagine that those games being released, I think they're done. I think they're sitting there, and that they're just going to be part of the marketing push and the marketing strategy to build Metroid Prime 4 into hopefully something bigger, right? Because
Yeah.
it's never been a big seller ever.
We talked about it extensively on my podcast when you were on, and yeah, I think that's the deal. I mean, Metroid doesn't sell. We looked at the best-selling Metroid, and it's Dread.
Yep.
And
Dread is the
still
best
not.
seller.
It's still not a big number. Like compared to the other properties, it's not a big number whatsoever.
No.
So they need to reintroduce to this new generation all the other Prime games. And yes, I will always defend Metroid Prime Hunters. I don't care what anybody says. It's a must-play game. I think it's fantastic, and it is directly, part of the rest of the Metroid Prime games.
Yep.
Yeah. So I expect to see those, and I do still think we'll eventually get Galaxy 2 in one form or another. I don't know where, when, how, but logically speaking, right? There's got to be a reason you omitted it, and it could be for it to be released as a standalone title later on in the Switch life cycle. Like, for instance, we've talked about the Wind Waker Twilight Princess, obviously the long rumored games that were supposed to come out. It's been rumored for years. And the thing is, though, is it could still come out for the Switch One next year, the following year, if Nintendo plans to support, again, the Switch One for a couple years after the Switch 2 comes out, which we talked about, I think, last week or the week before. But I do expect the Switch 1 to be supported up until through Christmas 2026.
Yeah, that's my guess. 2 to 3 years, I think.
Yeah. So wouldn't those be great titles to bring out after the Switch 2 is released? And maybe you release it for Switch 1, and if you play it on Switch 2, maybe you get some sort of boost.
Yeah.
Which, again, that's going to be very interesting to see how that plays out, right, guys? Whether we're going to get boosts or not for Switch 1 games. I got to imagine that is a selling point. I really do.
I feel like I'm not holding my breath on it. I mean, they should. Ideally, it should. Better hardware should make the game run better. And if DLSS is incorporated, I don't know.
Do you guys remember those stories from like maybe 6-12 months ago when it was first rumored about Switch 2 being backwards compatible? And there was some stories about developers not being happy about the idea of Switch 2 being backwards compatible.
I don't remember that one.
No, I didn't hear that. No.
Maybe it was, God, I don't know how long ago it was.
Yeah,
Maybe
sorry, I can't help you out here.
No, it's okay. It doesn't matter how long ago it was. I know it happened, but the point is that this is a good opportunity, though, for people, for the developers who have released their Switch 1 games to bring them over to Switch 2 with a boost. Like, this is a great way to go into your back catalog and see if you can get a second opportunity to sell some more games, right? Bring in some more revenue to help fund your next game.
Off top, well, kind of on topic, but off topic. Do you think that in September, do you think we just get Switch 2 news, or do you think we get like a full, basically, do we get a 10 to 20 minute direct that's like, this is the Nintendo Switch 2? Or do we get a full 40-minute direct with like, it's where it, starts with, this is Switch 2, and here is what's coming to that console and also Switch 1 with back and forth for the rest of the direct?
Full. I think they want to show off some games for the system.
Because I could see it going either way. Because they just did. It seems like they have a pretty full catalog going into this holiday season. But you brought up the idea of the Metroid Prime remasters, and something I could also see is that maybe they do drop a lot of those games to prepare for Switch 2 and make some, whether that one's cross-platform or not, I don't know. But I would bet a lot to say that Metroid Prime. Well, we know that Metroid Prime 4 is going to be cross-trap because they said it's going to play on Nintendo Switch. So I would be very surprised if at this point now that you bring that point up, I would be surprised if they don't make it a full 40-minute direct and they don't give us. We'll probably get some more holiday stuff, honestly.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question. What do you guys think will be the properties that we get at launch of Switch? Do you think it's going to be another Mario as usual?
Metroid Prime 4 is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Metroid.
Just kinda lines
as
up.
usual, they haven't launched a lot of systems with Mario.
They haven't.
Super
Last
Mario
one was
Odyssey was launch window, right?
Mario 64 was the last one, so September 96.
Okay, so that was like launch window, right?
So we're
Within the
talking
first
almost
6
30
months?
years ago.
Yeah,
Unless you count New Super Mario Brothers U.
I was
Okay,
gonna say,
all right.
Yeah,
Well,
for 3D Mario. Because we talked about this.
I apologize. But
No,
what do you guys think will launch with Switch 2? Like as far as properties, what do you think?
Honestly, probably Pokemon and Metroid.
Yeah.
That's
I
my
think it's
thought,
those.
too.
I think it's those two because I know Pokemon fans and they eat that shit up.
Oh,
they
yeah.
will buy
I'm
whatever.
one of them.
Yeah.
I'm one of them.
Nate,
I'll throw
you
it
look
out
like you have
there.
something to say. Oh, go ahead. Go ahead. Yeah.
Xenoblade.
Ooh,
Okay.
Let it be there.
Interesting. Okay, I like the off the
That'd
wall.
be nice.
Okay.
Yeah, Nintendo spent. It was the swan song for Wii U, and it was almost. If it wasn't a launch title, it was almost a launch title for Switch. So, I'm pretty sure Monolith they're hard at work right now on their own IP after helping, and they're constantly working because they're building the engines for Nintendo's games too. So
was Super Mario Odyssey a launch window game? Like when
It was
yeah, it was window.
2018.
It was October.
Yeah,
Okay.
October.
Oh, was it October? My bad.
October.
Okay.
20.
Yeah,
All right.
Nintendo says launch window is 9 months, which
Okay.
is an odd number. You
It
know,
is
you'd
odd.
think it would be 6 or 12, but 9 months.
Okay.
And yeah, I was gonna say, I'd like to see a 3D Mario launch, right?
I would love to.
But I don't think we're gonna. I'm leaning more towards There will be a Mario presence there. It's gonna
I
be
think
You think
Mario.
it'll be
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart?
I think it's gonna be Mario.
Yeah.
Kart. I think it's
Mario
gonna be the
Kart
first
makes
time
sense.
ever.
Mario Kart 9.
Evergreen title. It gets everyone to buy to play the new Mario Kart. Everyone's buying accessories, extra controllers. It makes sense because what is the best selling game on Switch? It's the 10-year-old Wii U Mario Kart.
Well,
That's
let me
And
ask you this.
Not to discount it because it's a freaking amazing game. I think it's the best Mario Kart of all
It
time.
was the best selling Wii U game too.
Yeah, and I
What do
loved it on
they-
Wii U.
What do they do differently with Mario Kart now that we have literally like the ultimate version of Mario Kart with all these
Right.
tracks?
That's the same
Um,
question for Smash
but
Brothers.
Smash
too.
Brothers
Before
too,
we-
yeah. How do you improve upon that?
Before we go down that road, because we've had that conversation a million bajillion times, Nate looks
sorry,
like he's
I
about to
must have
explode. No, it's okay. It's okay. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just Nate looks like he's about to explode, and I want to hear what he has. I want to hear his thoughts about this.
Oh, okay.
There's no explosion coming. I'm just
Not like an angry explosion, just like you look like you're bottled up.
Launch stuff or like day one or launch window because whatever Nintendo's launch window is 9 months apparently. Only fucking company does that. Just whatever. Look, it's launching with 3D Mario. I don't know what we're doing. Why are we messing around? It's 3D Mario. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Legends EA will come out in that first year because it's going to come out in 2025, but they're going to be later in the year. I think Legends is either going to be summer or it's a big holiday game. If they're truly taking their time with Pokemon, it's the holiday game. And when I say the holiday game, the holiday Pokemon game, you got to remember it's technically a Switch game. It might not even have a Switch 2 version. It might just be there for backwards compatibility, which means I think Switch is big holiday. Because basically my presumption is Switch 2 is coming out first half next year. That's just what I think. I think Nintendo wants 2 big sales periods of the first year.
Yes.
You get launch big sales period, you get holiday big sales period. That's 2 massive sales periods 1 year. Yes.
With you on that.
So I think they save Mario Kart as a holiday title because Mario Kart does bonkers during the holidays. So they'll launch Mario Kart around holiday time. Imagine that holiday or Legends EA and Mario Kart are both there.
Yeah, it'd be nuts.
It's fucking bonkers. Like,
so the Mario thing, I think you're right on that one though, because it wasn't supposed to slip to October. Mario Odyssey wasn't. Because it was shown during the reveal. So obviously that was one of the main games along with Breath of the Wild they wanted to show. So if they're probably that's exactly what they're working on.
I think in Nintendo's ideal world, I think Odyssey might have been being developed as the launch game for the new system, and Breath of the Wild was supposed to be Wii U. But hey, Wii U sucks, like not selling, so we gotta push. And then we're like, well, we could launch them at the same time, but we should split them up to the two big sales periods, one at launch, one at holiday. Obviously, it worked out for them. They both sold 25 million or so. So obviously, Breath of the Wild sold over 30. I don't know. Like this whole thing, I agree that Monolith Soft's going to have something. I don't know if it's going to be Xenoblade. I don't know if it's going to be the new IP. Monolith Soft will probably have something year one. But it's just based on their track record of their releases. It's just 2025 is when their next whatever it should be coming out. Unless they're taking more time with that too. Who knows? Like a new platform could take more time. Nintendo admitted that games are taking longer to make and costing more, which I always found funny when Nintendo talks about it, because I'm like, Nintendo, your budgets aren't that big. Like,
right?
Okay, it's costing you more. All right, it might cost you an extra 10 mil per game. All right, cool. Well, that's the ballooning budget we're talking about at Nintendo. I'm cool with that.
I like those problems.
That's something good. I'm sorry, we might only be able to publish 10 games a year instead of 12. Okay, my bad.
What do you guys think is the time for the next Animal Crossing?
Oh, that's a good question, because it could be any time, really.
Yeah, Animal Crossing is going to sell no matter when it drops.
That's the thing, man. It's
do they
tough
want to
because
install base for it, or are they going to plan to support it over the lifetime of the platform? If they're going to plan to support it lifetime, which they didn't do with the last one, then you want it earlier in the generation, because you're planning multiple DLC packs. Roadmap.
They want more evergreen, I think.
Yeah, not to
that it really
plug, but like,
good.
No, you're fine. Sorry, not to like self plug them. Like, I just did a research in a video about like Animal Crossing New Horizon, and it still baffles me to this day that they don't like continually do seasonal, even like an annual update DLC. It just seems like such a missed opportunity, cash cow. Even from that, like just from that perspective. Yeah, like it's wild to me. I'm like, I did it like. There's no way it did not sell. So
the only thing I think of is it's still like 40 million plus. It's one of the best selling games on Switch.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
I think a lot of it was
maybe they sold the DLC and the DLC didn't sell well. That's the only thing I can think of. And so they maybe were like, oh, maybe people fell off.
Well, I think they just wanted to get to work on the next one, so it wasn't such a large gap between them, so they could have it earlier.
Yeah, and then they just ended content,
and then they can have that extended life. That's why I think Animal Crossing. I don't think it's gonna be year one. Could I see it in 2026? I think that's a possibility. There is a really big seller there. And then that's when you start to see, hey, we got this roadmap of updates for 3-4 years, DLC packs and all that. And because I think they thought, at least at the time they dropped it in 2020, I don't think they planned for Switch 2 to be a 2025 console. I think there was, it probably was intended to be earlier, but then, hey, look at these incredible sales due to COVID. We just got extra years on our system. So let's go, baby. And so that was like, oh, well, that game was in development before that period. So like we dropped it and we had a plan and we're going to work on the next one and have it drop. And now it's like, well, okay, well now it feels awkward because the system was supposed to be done by now. That's what I kind of feel like. 2023, I feel like was probably when Nintendo wanted their next gen system out. But then they're like, hey, why would we release it when we're selling like gangbusters, right? So
I'm pretty sure we've played Switch 2 games this year. They were supposed to be Switch 2 titles. And
I
can believe that.
Yeah, I can fully believe that.
Yeah.
I mean, even something like Echoes of Wisdom, which we'll get into in a moment. It has now that the previews are out. Yes, it does have frame rate problems. It just straight up has frame rate issues, just like Link's Awakening did. Even a little bit worse in this game because of the echoes. People were having so much fun with it, they ended up not caring. That's kind of the joy of Nintendo games. Like, yeah, Tears of the Kingdom's got frame rate problems, but you're having so much damn fun, you end up just not really caring most of the time.
That's crazy.
But it's like, yeah, it has frame rate problems. You think that game's got frame rate problems on Switch too? Come on now.
Nope.
Come on now. That might even been planned to be a year one launch game to have a Zelda game year one on Switch too. Like, so. But they're like, hey, we got extended time. Let's just push it back. We can get this to run on Switch. It is what it is. Because also, like, I think Nintendo will probably have a couple planned cross-gen releases besides Metroid Prime 4 Beyond and Legend Z. I think there'll be a couple more. I don't know if they're going to be like the big AAA games because Nintendo is still one of the old traditional companies that says games sell systems. Well, if it's cross-gen, then you're not selling Switch 2s. So
Yep.
I could see ZA not being cross-gen genuinely.
Yeah, I don't think ZA is at all. I think there's a
No.
potential that they might offer a performance upgrade patch, maybe, and that's only if Nintendo ever made them.
Yeah, but I think that they make it. I think it's too much of a system seller. Like Pokemon fans are gonna scramble to get a new console so they can play the new game. Like
this is what I think will happen with ZA. I think ZA is gonna have like an unlocked resolution scaler and an unlocked frame rate. And that way, when it has the extra juice to Switch 2, it just naturally goes to the next.
We aren't talking about Game Freak, right? No, I'm just kidding. I'm just messing.
Yeah, well, we are talking about Hey, I'll give them one piece of credit. Pokemon Legends.
Yeah.
Actually, wasn't
it's good. Yes.
That wasn't.
It felt. I mean, even to both games, it felt like they tried. It's just it didn't bake long enough. That's literally all it is.
Yeah.
Like, because there's things in the game. It's like if they weren't trying, why would this stuff be there? You know. So that's my opinion on it. But anyways, sorry, I'm not gonna go on a tangent.
You're fine.
Anyhow.
All right. Well, maybe we should move on to our last topic here. Before we do, I just want to remind the chat because I know Pavlam's dipping out here in a few minutes.
Yeah.
So I'll get his. I don't know if it's gonna be quick thoughts. I don't even know if we'll get much thoughts in on it. But I want to remind the chat, everyone, that we do have a Q&A that happens right at the end. If you guys want to super chat in your questions, we already have some super chats in and some stuff ready to go to feature. But if you guys want to get some more in, as little as $2, good to go. We'll feature you up here and we'll.
My Venmo's in the chat. Venmo me $2.
Yeah, Venmo. As he's leaving and he can't bring up his Venmo on stream, he's like texting me, "Hey, this guy Venmoed me. You might want to mention this question." You're not even here, dude.
You have the QR code. Yeah.
I know I haven't spoken too much to my chat, but I see everything, and I saw Nintendo Prime get in the chat.
Oh, hi, Shadow's chat.
An old friend is in your chat. An old friend.
Yep. So we're whatever questions you want to post, you post them in Nintendo Prime chat, whatever kind of donations you want to make or what have you, and then we'll go from there.
All right. That being said, let's get to our last topic here. So look, we talked Switch 2, all this stuff, but hey, there's just game news out the ass right now. And Echoes of Wisdom has a lot of game news happening. They had the public demo at PAX West, but then they also had the private demo, which was really exciting for the for media because they got to spend 80 minutes playing the game. So they started at the same place that the public demo was, but you only got 15 minutes. They got 80, so they just got to keep going. And we found out we just found out a lot of stuff. I am going to warn people right now. If you are somebody who's trying to be absolutely spoiler free, probably want to dip out because there'll be spoilers because it is what look, to me, anything that comes from Nintendo is like not considered to be a spoiler in my book. But I mean, you know what? Everyone treats it differently.
They want to have the whole experience when they buy it. I get that.
Yeah. So, but that being said, there's a lot. We're gonna actually feature Celtic's footage here. He has 17 minutes of footage. It's just really good stuff. So this is all his gameplay and stuff from the
That's
video.
crazier. He got to like record it. That's
awesome. Well, everyone did. Yeah, all the media guys got to record all the stuff, direct capture. And we just learned a lot of stuff about the game. One thing we learned accidentally that we weren't supposed to know, hence the spoiler warning. We do start out the game playing as Link. I think a lot of us thought that's what the ESRB rating meant.
That's what I figured.
But Botalk Games, when he was playing the public demo, he went to the menu and he's like, "Oh, hey, I can start a new game," and he hit new game and it started.
That's awesome.
Was like, "Oh, you're not
locked down the demo."
Yeah, the demos are not locked down. They're like legitimately like maybe the full game. Anyway, well, it's funny because that happened to me at what was it, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee. I went into the menu system and they're like, "Hey, what are you doing?" I don't know. I'm gonna click on this thing quick, and all of a sudden they loaded a completely different part of the game. I'm like, no, you got to shut that down. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. It's your demo.
That's awesome.
Now that was not complete, but there was other parts of the game, and like I think it was the parts that Treehouse could show. And I'm like, oh, you gotta have it locked more than just hit start and then go to a menu selection and select something. Come on now. Anyways, I take no blame for that. You should not have that as be able to be done. But that also lets you know how some of these demos they're not always. This is why you guys will ever wonder, oh, why don't they put some of these big game demos on the eShop? They didn't really make a demo. Let's just be clear. They didn't actually make it.
It's just the game is there.
It's just the
They're
game.
playing the game, honestly.
Or it's like a debug developer mode that they're letting you play one section, but don't hit the right button combo because you're going to go somewhere you're not supposed to go. Anyways, so yeah, I've known this from years at E3 as well. Like a lot of those demos, there's a reason they're not publicly available.
Yeah.
This game looks fantastic.
Yeah, we start out as Link, so that's probably the playable part. There's just a lot of interesting things we find out about the game, and you're gonna see a lot of it in the footage. You know, like you gain the Zelda sword ability like really early in the game. It's like kind of like right after the first dungeon, because that's like where everyone's demos ended. Like all the 80 minutes, they could only really get to the part where they fight the Link, whatever, we don't know, Shadow Link, whatever they're calling it. And that's where you get the sword ability, which isn't a shocker, but it also means like it's not a plot twist middle of the game. No, this is very early on. You get the sword ability that has that limited time thing. That was one thing we learned, obviously, in the recent footage that Nintendo showed, the 5-minute trailer leading into PAX. But the first dungeon of the game is Suthorn Ruins. Yeah, so I mean, it's like one of the first villages you go to is the Suthorn Village. Cool. When you're like the first time you get control of Zelda, you are in the jail. That's where all the demos begin, and that's actually like the first time you really control Zelda. And apparently you're in jail because the King of Hyrule is blaming you for all the rifts, supposedly. Weird behavior is bad. But
Sorry,
then,
Daddy.
is it really
Wait,
weird?
he's not even possessed. It's just what it is.
Well, that's just what it is at the moment. Now I'm presuming
Supposedly,
that's not the real
gotcha.
king, because we know the king falls through the rift at one point. So I
Yes.
presume it's not the real king, but I maybe it is, and maybe he's just confused because the rifts came from where you were captured. I don't know. Anyways, when you sneak out of the castle, it's when you run into Impa, who will give you a disguise. That's the cape thing that makes you kind of look like Link a little bit. The logbook, which is where all your quest logs and stuff are, and then the map that you guys have already seen in the footage. And she'll mark a house that you can go to, and that house happens to be covered by a rift later in the footage, and that's where the first dungeon is. You can jump by pressing B, which is just really cool because in a top-down Zelda game, I think we've only been able to jump one other time or two other times, the Rock's Feather, or something like that.
Yep.
So like,
I thought the Breath of the Wild UI would clash with this style, but it actually still
It
works.
dude, this is just straight gameplay. It's fired, and right now we're seeing like hero mode. There's a hero mode in the game. It's available right from the very beginning.
Chef's kiss.
Yep, twice the damage, no hearts dropping, and also some accessories effects won't be applied. You guys know that when I live stream, that's the mode we're going straight to. It just is what it is. I am curious about like what the accessory effects are. Like, oh, hey, this accessory is not working. Oh, this must be one.
Oh, there's a lock on. Interesting.
Yeah, they put a lock on. There's Z targeting. First time ever in top-down Zelda, we have Z targeting.
Yeah.
And the people who played the game talked about how it's actually really useful considering your echo abilities.
Yeah. This seems like it feels like a 2.5 type Zelda game. Like not even like a 2D, but like in the best way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Everything about the game, just the more they show of it, and the more we see like these previews that came out. Oh, we saw enough over PAX. I'm good. Then I'm watching like the Zeltic footage, and I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
And this is like the beginning tutorial area of the game, and it already looks just so fun.
Right.
And I kind of like that. Like, how do you guys feel about the sword ability? How like it's kind of limited. You can only use it for like 10 seconds.
I think it's fair. Because I think the whole point is that they want to try and encourage you to use like the echoes and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
It makes it feel different. You know, because you're used to just, especially in top-down Zelda, just spam the sword button. That's just how you kill everything.
Yeah, it's a key. It's one of many keys, I suppose you can say there. Yeah. Not to cut it off, but I definitely have to go. So.
Yeah, you're good.
Thanks everybody. You guys are all wonderful. Of course, Shadow is wonderful meeting you. Game Junction is always great seeing you again, and the regular cast. You guys are always wonderful. Appreciate it. I have a video coming out tomorrow, how Animal Crossing saved the world. So if you want to relive your initial moments of Animal Crossing, feel free to check that out. Otherwise, I'm just Nintendo guy. I'm live on Twitch all the time, and I'll be around. I appreciate you having me on as always, Nate.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Yeah. All right. Thanks, everybody. Y'all
Have
have
a
a
good
good one.
one.
Have a good one.
Later.
Later.
All right. Man, dude, I'm such a Zelda nerd. Like this is doing it for me so bad. Like I legitimately I'm like as hyped for this game as I was for Tears of the Kingdom. It just makes me smile.
Me too.
It just makes me smile the more I see of it. Like I love the Link's Awakening art style, but I was like, oh, it'd be cool if they put this with the Oracle games. No, they're doing a brand new game. Like, look at
Brand
that
new
game.
game.
I'm talking to.
I do still
cool.
hope we get the Oracle games because Oracle of Ages is my favorite Zelda game.
There's an owl mask. Like, what is going on? I think it's probably Link's house. I see the cap up there.
I see it.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that we'll see a remake of the Oracle games, or do you think they'll just be brought to like Switch Online or to the Switch 2, Switch Online, or whatever?
I think every Zelda game is getting remade at some point.
Yeah, I could see that. I
And
mean,
it's the most remade series in Nintendo. Like,
Well,
Yeah.
except Zelda 2.
well, hey,
yeah, but I mean, we should still. You know what I would like to
don't
see?
you
with
install one of my
Zelda 2?
favorite games? Come on.
I would like to see a reimagining of Zelda 2 because I don't think
Yeah.
it's a bad game, but it's definitely like the black sheep. And I feel like with the reimagining versus just a remake or a remaster, like they can kind of reimagine the game to be more like a traditional Zelda-esque game while
Nah.
still keeping the elements that people loved from Zelda 2. But, you know, it's kind of the black sheep, and a lot of people hate it. I do know people that like it.
It's only
Obviously,
hated
Nate,
because of
you
expectation.
like it.
That's the only reason why.
Dude,
You go
it's-
from Zelda 1 to that, and you're like, what is this?
Dark Souls of Zelda. If it ever gets remade, if it ain't from software, I ain't interested.
I just played it and beat it and
I
reviewed
loved
it
it.
on my channel. And I played the Super Nintendo port, the unofficial Super Nintendo
yeah.
port of Zelda 2. And I've always loved the game, but I know there's a lot of
It's
a lot of hate
just
for it.
different. I don't think it's not a bad game. It's just different, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I feel.
And I love it.
I mean, yeah, I love it
still hurts
too.
to this day when people call it the Black Sheep, not only because it's like my third favorite Zelda game of all time, but also.
Well, besides, you know, Wanda Gamelon and Zelda's Adventure.
Well, no. I'm
and
like,
that.
but we have games that are like
Those
Triforce.
don't exist. We don't talk.
Dude, we have,
Yeah.
Hey, I own them. I actually like Zelda's Adventure.
Funny thing is, we
Yeah.
have people
Hot
fan
take.
Hourglass. That's like the Black Sheep for me, but I know a lot of people love that game.
I feel like Spirit Tracks is more of the black sheep.
Triforce Heroes is ahead of
I
Zelda.
like-
2?
I like
Link's
Triforce
crossbow
Heroes.
trainers.
Classic.
I'm one of the few though. You know what? I really like Triforce Heroes because I got on with my friends online and beat the game multiple times over. If it weren't for that online multiplayer, I probably wouldn't like it. But it was fun with friends. That's how I feel.
Yeah, you can just echo everything in this game. This is insane. I got a pea hat now. I can just make pea hats. Jeez.
Yeah, that's just. I think that's probably the best part. Of, like, this is almost limitless.
Yeah,
You can-
it's like it's almost like Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom in a
Yeah.
Zelda package.
Yeah, and some people were sort of hinting that you may be able to go to the end once you're past the tutorial, like just right away, which again is very Breath of the Wild and original Zelda. Oh, original Zelda, you can quite get the end boss, but you can do all the dungeons out of order and stuff.
Actually, I have an interesting question. Since we got that image of the new Zelda timeline, where do you think this like fits in that timeline, or does it fit in the timeline?
Dude, that Zelda timeline was interesting.
It was
It's probably
very
going to sit to the side with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Well,
That's what I'm thinking.
hey, there is an official statement. Echoes of Wisdom is not a sequel or a prequel to any currently existing Zelda game.
So there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So it sits
confirmed that
aside.
during this whole review or preview thing. Yeah, so that's something that might be in a video tomorrow. You might be getting a sneak peek at a headline tomorrow. Might talk Zelda timeline for a brief second. I apologize.
I'll definitely be watching it. The Zelda timeline is kind of, you know, it is what it is.
Well,
it was
it's
like
probably on the timeline somewhere, but everyone had like, oh, it must be a sequel to this or it must be a prequel to that. I'm like, no, Nintendo said no, it's not.
I just care if it's a fun game. I mean,
You just have to think about the mindset too. They made a game first, and they happened.
Yeah.
They told a story. These are all self-contained games at one point, all the way up until they started. I guess what
in the Zelda story,
Ocarina
they
of
made
Time,
that
maybe.
timeline.
Yeah, other than that, they weren't really thinking about them being. They were basically a retelling of the same story for the most part up until Ocarina of Time. Then they started getting, well, let's start adding stuff and trying to figure out where they're going to fit. But even then,
Yeah.
they could all be their own separate story if you played them. It's probably
Yeah.
the same logic to follow.
I think
there.
the timeline is kind of throwaway at this point anyway. I
Yeah.
feel like it's, they made some of those games having no idea if they were going to make another Zelda game.
Yep.
Like Zelda 1, like how does that fit in the timeline? They had no idea that they would ever make another Zelda game. And then Zelda 2 just doesn't make sense. But yeah, whatever.
Zelda 2 is clearly a different project. And I mean,
yeah, for sure. I do like these elements though. From Link's Awakening, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And it's like Zelda 2-esque.
I'm looking forward to hearing the soundtrack.
Oh,
Yeah,
it's
me
probably
too.
really good.
Yeah, I
Me
can't
too.
imagine it's going to be great.
I just ordered a vinyl box set of a bunch of Zelda records.
Which one? The
Oh,
Breath
look
of the
at
Wild
this.
one?
Look
Yeah,
at this
Breath of the
gameplay
Wild.
here. Oh, that was pretty. I like that. That's pretty good.
And it's like a Dark Nut, and you could make a copy of these guys too.
I love it.
Awesome.
I'm so excited for this game. Yeah,
And it's just a play your way style. And it's one of those, I think people were like, oh, after Tears of the Kingdom, we're kind of, we want to break from like the do whatever, you want sort of gameplay. And then they did this and everyone's like, no, apparently we're not dumb because this is awesome.
You can do whatever you want. I love, know what? Hot take. I love classic Zelda games. Like Ocarina of Time was my favorite game of all time, but I actually like the open world elements for Zelda. I think it fits. I feel like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom really fit for that format and did it very well.
Give you guys a little pro tip on this fight right here. Zeltic's doing it all wrong, baby. You use that bind ability and you yank his shield off him. That's how you want to fight Link there. Just a little pro tip if he's kicking your ass when you guys do it.
Yeah, I personally like how if there's a scenario, a puzzle, whatever it is, that we can all solve it in a different way. Yeah. And of course, we saw that with Tears of the Kingdom, and that was really cool. And I actually think that helps to kind of build like a community around the game, just to see how somebody else does it. Because again, like I remember when I was live streaming that game, I've said this before, but I had people in chat giving me all these different ideas of things to try. And then I'd have someone come in and say, oh, I did this and this worked. But then I did something else and that worked too. And I like that idea in video games. And to be honest, I'd like to see other games too employ that method, right? Because I think that's fun where there is no one exact answer. There's many answers. There's many ways to solve puzzles. And I like that. And I think that's probably, that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most with this game.
Yeah. Me too. I like that, like in Tears of the Kingdom, you could solve puzzles like 50 different ways, and see, I like that a lot. So
yeah, this game. I'm sorry. I'm just like staring at the gameplay, and I'm like, I can't.
Right.
I need to play this. I'm so mad I didn't go to PAX. I'm so mad.
I just like how piranha plants are just they're just canon now. They're just going to be part of it, regardless of whether it's a Link's Awakening game or not.
Right.
They're just like,
technically it should be golden Deku Babas.
Yeah, they should be.
There should be. I don't know what their official name is, but
yeah, it's
did it show it in the footage?
It's a Deku Baba. Yeah,
is it okay? Because I know they had the piranha plants.
They got the blue ones. They got the blue ones. That's the traditional.
That's what it's just
traditional Deku Baba.
Deku Baba.
They just have it. Okay. I wonder if there's something unique about it compared to the blue ones. I know the blue ones are in the game. We saw them in the screenshots.
Talus. Oh, they have Talus.
Yeah, they got. Okay. This is the boss of the first dungeon. How's he going to fight it? Oh, he's sending a bunch of enemies at it. So again, this is another one of those. You can use that bond ability, and you could yank that fucking thing from underneath him. Like, God, what is it? What are those? The flux. Those flux enemies in Tears of the Kingdom. How you can like grab the cube and pull it off him. You can do that on this guy too. Yeah,
that's awesome.
This game looks so amazing.
I'm so excited for it.
Oh, if you guys are seeing lag, by the way, this is not this is not I'm gonna say it's like a double stream, triple stream to get the video to you. I don't know what it is about Streamlabs compared to all the other streaming platforms. All of them I can pre-upload all my footage and play it natively off their servers. For some reason, Streamlabs just doesn't let you do that. So StreamYard Labs, whatever.
I think Restream lets you do that.
Yes, but Restream won't let me schedule streams anymore.
I haven't used Restream in a few months, but I liked it when I used it.
That's why we left. I loved it. Everything, their bit rates, everything was better there. But
yeah, I agree. Restream's great, but I ended up leaving it and just doing it.
Right, they still let you schedule. It just doesn't create the stream on YouTube, and it's just
that's annoying. Yeah.
It used to literally like 3 weeks ago it was working, and they updated it. Now I don't know what the hell.
Oh, that's stupid. Yeah, I used Restream for probably about a year and a half, and just recently stopped using it.
Anyways,
went live just directly to the platform.
Anyone else want to chime in on Echoes of Wisdom, or should we get to the Q&A?
No, I just want to play that game.
Yeah, right.
Day one.
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'll be live streaming day one, guys. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. All right, let's get to our super chats, member chats as well. Count for Q&A. One of our longtime subscribers, I mean, like, he's a blue bomber, so he's been a member for at least 3 years plus, and he's been subscribed for like 5 years. Tall Show said today he turned the big 4-0. I'll sing happy birthday to this old bastard.
Oh Jesus!
You not have a happy birthday button?
I do have a happy birthday button, but I can't guarantee you that it's going to sound good. But we'll
that's the point
see what happens.
This old bastard. Yeah. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Tall Show.
Happy birthday.
I literally, I don't know how that sounded because the last time I hit a button on StreamYard, it didn't sound very good, but whatever.
But I think that's the point of it.
They appreciated it.
I have to use like that version if I'm going to play it because like I get copyright claimed when I do.
Which
the actual happy birthday
people
song.
Actually own happy birthday,
which is stupid. But
actually, you know who owns the rights to it? Who did? It's Michael Jackson.
Really?
Oh, that's right. I've heard that.
Yeah, because from managing in the restaurant industry, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to sing happy birthday because of that.
That's crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, I know it is.
Oh Lord.
Smart though, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, very smart.
Boom Indy comes in here for $2 saying, "Are you planning to buy the Deku Tree Lego set?"
I saw it on Twitter. It looks nice.
I'm considering it.
You guys see this?
Is he opening it right now? Oh, live unboxing.
Oh boy.
Live unboxing.
Boy.
Here you go. I was gonna say, I do
Oh,
plan.
of course you got it, Steve.
You got my Master Sword letter opener there.
Look at that. He's all ready to go.
I knew that he would.
He was waiting because he saw the super chat earlier.
Well, it came in right before the stream, actually. Like I drove down to go get it from the mail. Nice. So I was like, oh, I'll just wait. And then I saw a super chat. I'm like, okay, I'll wait a little longer then.
Oh, that's awesome. Let's see this bad boy. Oh, it's double boxed. Yeah.
Yeah, they made sure nobody was getting that guy.
Yeah, they don't want to know what's in this thing. No package thieves. Don't back off. Granted, isn't it like 300?
Yeah, it's expensive.
Something like that. Pretty sure.
That's pretty steep.
Yeah, it's steep.
Oh man, the box though is in perfect condition.
Well, they double boxed it. I hope so.
All right.
There it is.
Nice.
Oh, there it is. God, I got to get 2 of them because you can only build one way.
Yeah, there's the Breath of the Wild, and then.
Sorry about that.
You're good.
Yeah,
Ocarina of Time. Yeah. I know, and I want 2 of them so I can build both and have them both.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
A lot of money, but then I gotta get another one to leave it unopened.
I still want the Mario question block set because I think that's really
one's
cool.
sick. Yeah, the question
and the NES. I haven't got that either.
Like, I got them both.
These are normally things that I would buy day one, but for some reason I don't like paying the Lego prices, and I haven't bought it.
Yeah,
So
they're
the answer
getting
for
up there
Steve
now, and
The answer
God,
for
they
Steve
are.
is he already has it.
I don't
I'll-
take them apart, so I need a glass case to put them in once I'm done with them.
Yeah,
I plan.
I'll
to get-
definitely buy all. Of them
I
at
plan
some
to get
point.
all the Lego ones. I just hope they're still in print and not secondhand by the time
Yeah.
I actually buy them.
Right.
Yeah, I've got to have the
Well,
extra
print,
cash because there's
so-
so much money. I mean, holy crap!
Mhm.
There's as much as a mortgage. You can get all of them.
And then I don't, Eric, you're probably not going to get it
No.
right. No, yeah, it's a lot of money for someone who's not super into it like me. And are you going
Steve.
to get it?
No, I
Someday.
want to. Steve, which tree are you doing?
Ooh, good.
OOT.
There it is.
I was gonna say that's saying he opens it.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm opening it.
Okay.
he builds his Legos. Come on now.
Don't worry, he's got like a second and third one coming.
Does anyone in the world build their
no,
set
first
and then
I gotta buy
unbuild
one.
it and rebuild it again?
Nah.
I
I've
didn't
only
think
done
so.
that. I've only done that for when I was younger. I would do that because
Yeah,
they have
when I
the
was
two
a kid.
different ways you can make it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They will always have like if you make this playset or whatever, you can make it this way or that way. So I take it apart and then build it the other way or what have you. And you never really had, as a kid, you don't have the money to buy two sets. So
Yeah.
that I would do that then. But
Yeah.
now there's no
I
way.
remember those Lego Technics did that a lot, where you could
Yep.
build like a
Mm.
truck or like a robot.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah, you build a car and it works like
Yeah.
or it came with a motor and all that. And yeah.
I love that. Good times.
All right, next up we got Chartard coming in here saying, "Bro, for a second I thought King David was on."
Ooh.
Jeez. You guys, super chats are super chats. All right, it is what it is.
All right.
Thanks for the $2. Boom Any says Blam, who's not here anymore. Fortunately, the very likable Onuma will continue to make Zelda games until he doesn't. Yes.
That is generally how things go.
Yes, generally,
Yeah.
generally how things go.
They happen until they don't.
And that's a good philosophy in
It
life.
is.
Scarlet and Violet introduced the broke
That's bad.
As bad as
That's
those
bad.
games are, I still actually like them. They do have problems, but I like them.
Yep. That's why they sold so well. So
Oh, that's savage.
That's good though.
in
That's
64
that's clever.
trees.
We had a member chat coming from Taker 6 He said Nate would totally be the guy to go into the Nintendo museum. You guys must have talked about the museum while I wasn't here.
Yeah.
Go into the Nintendo museum and pull the curtain back early as security drags him away, saying hype irresponsibly.
Yes.
Yes, I would.
That would be you.
Yes,
Yep.
I would. Yes, I would. And then I get the cease and desist letter the next day to change my username on that line.
Yep.
Yeah, I totally would. It's probably a good thing I don't live in Kyoto because there'd be problems. I would be banned for life.
Man, I still got to go to Super Nintendo World. I need to go.
No.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
yeah. And then the last one I have here, unless we get some more in before we end here, is from Demonic Brawler says new 3D Donkey Kong game inside of launch
That's
window.
dope.
That was the rumor.
Mhm.
Donkey Kong
I
Freedom,
want it
whatever
to be
it was.
3D. I just want it to be 3D. We haven't had one in so long.
You know, I wonder. I mentioned it, earlier this year, but of course, it's the 30th anniversary of Donkey Kong Country this year.
Yeah.
So I had hoped that maybe we'd get something DK related.
Yeah, right.
Maybe it's next year.
Mhm.
But I could, if we're doing Donkey Kong Country, if we're doing something in that vein, whether it be another 2D or we're going a 3D Donkey Kong Country, you know, I could see it. God, it's been a long time if you think about it. Like if we look at the fact that hey, this is a Wii U game, Tropical Freeze.
Mm-hmm.
It's been over a decade since a new Donkey Kong. And so we are due. But then I also got to ask, how could it align possibly with the movie stuff? Right? Because obviously DK played a pretty good role. Who is it? Was it Seth? Is it Seth Rogen?
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
I got to wonder if there are plans already in place to have a standalone Donkey Kong movie. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't. Regardless, he's going to be in the next Mario movie. And so you got to wonder if they want to align a Donkey Kong release with that movie. And do we know when the Mario movie is supposed to come out? The year? Is it 25 or 6?
26, I think. Right?
Okay. So that wouldn't align then for it to come out next year. But I'd like it to. I would like it to, man. I would love to see a 3D Donkey Kong. Love to.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just been so long. I just really want one. Like when that was the first thought that came to my mind when they brought Kirby into that 3D isometric style.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, dude, okay, you're doing it to Kirby. Can we please get another Donkey Kong attempt? Please, please. You did it one time back in the day. I just need one more attempt at it. I believe that this can work really, really damn well. We just modernize. Let's go. I just have a feeling it's side scrolling. Just got a feeling. Which, by the way, I love side scrolling Donkey Kong, so that sounds like a big negative. It's not.
Yeah, I love it too.
We just got a dirty question, and I don't want to get in trouble. That's
Dirty?
gonna be rough.
We got a dirty question.
Is it just because of the username, Clapping Zelda Cheeks?
No, just because I don't want to answer that one because I'm already in trouble for this second PS5 back here.
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I figured.
you got like a significant other getting mad at you over there or something?
Yeah, I still don't have any OLED yet. I don't have a single OLED, but I have 4 of them, 4 Switch consoles.
So
I can't.
for the audio listeners, the question from Clapping Zelda Cheeks for $5 was, how many of you are getting that Switch Lite? Of course, talking about the Zelda Switch Lite.
Me, for sure.
Yeah, it's
I
pre-ordered.
got it pre-ordered.
It's pre-ordered. I'm picking it up at Best Buy with my copy of Zelda and my acrylic set.
There are things I can excuse. I just and here's the thing: if I bought it, I probably would never open it.
I'm not opening it.
I just leave it sealed.
I'm
I'm
keeping
not
factory
opening it
sealed.
either.
There's no
But
reason to open up a Switch Lite for me.
I will say I'm actually looking for a Switch Lite so I can use it for a project, but I'm definitely not opening that one.
Ooh, for a project, huh?
I
Yeah.
think this.
You know what it is. You know what it is.
I think
And I
this.
like it because I prefer the D-pad. So when I play games like Streets of Rage 4, which I can't stop playing for some reason,
The D-pad's so much better.
Yeah,
I
I prefer
agree.
that D-pad.
D-pad for life over here. I'm all about the D-pad. That's why I got the Nitro deck. I use that, and it's got a D-pad.
I've been thinking about getting that Nitro Deck Plus.
I think the Switch Lite, the Zelda one's only going to have one run. Like if you look at their light special editions, they don't stick around. Not like the OLED ones where they keep them around for a couple of years. So I feel like it's only going to have like 1, maybe 2 manufacturing runs just because we're close to holiday. So they think maybe they can squeeze some extra sales this holiday out of it. But Lite's also their worst selling system, which is why they don't just go overboard with it, which also means that this could be a highly collectible.
Yeah.
So I don't have one pre-ordered. If I happen upon one during the holidays at a store, I'll probably pull the trigger and just throw it in my set and just see if it goes up in value someday. Because I regret opening my Majora's Mask new Nintendo 3DS XL. I so regret opening that.
Oh yeah.
I opened it, and it's not about the unboxing. Like it wasn't even for a video. I just used it, and it got worn. And it was so worn. I'm like, dude, the collector's value is gone for me. I'm just gonna sell the damn thing now. So I don't want to do that to that. Like I already have my Tears of the Kingdom one that I actually use every day. Question whether or not I should have even opened that one. So
Mine's still factory sealed.
Yeah, of course it is. like I didn't need to hold the Zelda edition in my hand.
Priceless at this point.
But that's one of those that like back in the day we did unboxing videos for the original Switch and like the Master Edition of Breath of the Wild. But if I ever got my hands on the one that had the statue inside it, it would have been like, well, shit. If I opened it back then, you know what those fucking go for today? If you have a sealed one,
yeah. I want one of those.
Yeah.
Hylian Shield 3DS so bad.
Yeah, I got the shield.
You have the shield?
Well, you're talking about the Master Sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The
it's right behind me. Right there.
Oh, that's
wow.
beautiful.
and
Yeah, that's the big fat one. Yep.
Beautiful.
I was
Yeah,
the only one at Best
yeah,
Buy
yeah.
who had it pre-ordered. They only got one in.
Yeah, that was the
And-
problem. There were so few of them.
That's
Yeah.
the one
Yeah.
I tried very, very, very hard to get it. And
Yeah, I had to
never
settle for
did.
the other special edition because they only had one, and there was
Yeah,
one
I did the same.
Yeah, that's the one I have back here, the regular special edition.
I still have it at the very top of my list to track down. Though.
It was
I
so
love
funny.
it so much.
When I went to go pick it up from Best Buy, they're like, I showed them my pre-order. They're like, oh, so you're the one. I'm like, yeah, I don't know what you mean. Because I just left from Lone Depot from work to go pick it up. And I'm just going back into work. And they're like, you're the only one who got it, man. We got one in the store. We're wondering who pre-ordered it. I'm like, what? Nobody else pre-ordered this? They're like, no. I'm like, okay.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's indication. Never opening this one. Got it.
Right, exactly.
Somebody asked if you can show off your Hyrulean Shield 3DS.
Oh, I don't have one.
Oh, I thought Steve said he had one.
What is this? I don't know.
Oh,
Stash.
3DS? No.
Oh, okay. All right, he doesn't have one.
No, I got the Master Edition behind me.
Oh,
of,
you were talking about the Master Edition.
Breath of the
collector's,
Wild.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
That
cool
goes
too.
for a lot. On
Yeah,
eBay.
too much. That's why I don't have it.
Because they didn't make a lot of them, man.
Yeah.
And I thought about it too. I was like, yeah, it's 100 plus or whatever. And I'm thinking, yeah, do I really? I'm never going to use that. I'm never going to need. And then, yeah,
Sometimes
Now
I
you
know
want
it's going to
I think
skyrocket.
it's collector's value sometimes because I'm always like, when I'm in a pinch financially, it's nice to have something that I know had some value.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think because Nintendo, I guess Nintendo was doing a lot of marketing for this, and they were making a whole bunch of special editions. So you figured there was going to be a lot of those printed, but I guess not for that. So that's crazy because this is Nintendo's best-selling system, and yeah, wow.
I went to my GameStop right away when those went up for pre-order, and they said that they weren't getting them in. They wouldn't be taking pre-orders for them. Tried Target. I was too late, so it is what it is.
All right. Let's see here. I think we got through all of the super chats tonight. So thank you guys so much for supporting the show and supporting the channel. I do appreciate all of that. I will go around the room and just remind everyone who the hell we are and where we can find our stuff, and if we got anything coming up you're gonna talk about. We'll start with Shadow Fox Infinite.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Shadow Fox Infinite, Shadow Fox Prime, Shadow Fox Arcade. If you follow me on Twitter, destroying souls as usual. So I have a channel that's
Entertaining on Twitter. I'm just want to let you guys know, follow his ass on Twitter. He's very entertaining.
yeah, entertaining. I try to be a little bit educational too, but it's sometimes you know how Twitter goes. So some people just want to be ignorant for the sake of being ignorant. Or derail just to derail. But so channel's dead but not dead, so it will be unzombified pretty soon. So thank you guys for tuning in here. The few people that follow me here in the chat and whatnot, I did not ignore you, and I'm not trolling you, I promise. So we'll start the channel up proper within the next week or so. So stay tuned, and you'll see notifications on the channel, and you'll see notifications on Twitter as well. So other than that, that's all I got to say.
All right. Game Junction.
Where do I start? We got a bunch of stuff coming up. We just launched we're on episode 2 of our anime podcast. Of course, we have the Game Junction podcast every Friday at 8 live on YouTube. I'm working on a video right now on Metroid Prime 4 and kind of my thoughts of that. And yeah, give a follow on Facebook, Twitter, all that jazz, TikTok, Instagram. I upload daily shorts there and have all kinds of different content and posts. So that's me.
All right. Eric.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, that's it. Every Wednesday. He's right here.
I'm here.
Except when he's not.
Yep.
That's how that works.
That's how it works.
Thunder Stash, buddy.
Yeah. Today I posted my retrospective review for Super Castlevania 4. in the last week, I put up reviews for Castlevania 1, 2, 3. And then on Friday, I have my retrospective for Castlevania Bloodlines. And then on Monday, these are already scheduled. I have Castlevania Rondo of Blood, which, my God, that game is so damn good. You got to check that out. And then next Friday the 13th, I have scheduled the Haunted Castle Revisited review, which is the game that was included on the Castlevania Dominus collection. You have to check that out because I've played the original Haunted Castle, and it's not a very good game. And as much as I'd like it to be, because I love Castlevania, but this Revisited game, wow, it's impressive. So yeah, you want to check that out.
All right. Hell yeah. And you guys know who I am at this point. If you don't and you're listening to the audio version, I am Nintendo Prime, Nathaniel Rumpeljans. We cover Nintendo news and rumors and give thoughts, and we have lots of I don't know. I do this for a living, so I have a lot of shit going up like every day. So come check me out primarily on YouTube. If you follow me over on Twitter, apparently I'm a console warrior, so go ahead and follow me on Twitter and watch me console warrior. Even though I game literally on everything, I'm a console warrior. It's fine. And then you can also follow me on Instagram. Yep, we got Nintendo Prime over on Instagram as well. I don't post a lot there. We also have one on TikTok, but I'm trying to get some shorts and some stuff going here beginning next year, where we'll have some YouTube shorts and some TikToks and stuff like that for those audiences, because it's good to diversify a little bit. Because right now it's pretty much all on YouTube, and if YouTube ever gets mad at me, I'm kind of fucked. So at least fucked with this career. Whatever. I'll pick up a new job next week. Lots of jobs in my area. Not jobs I want to work though, but there's work. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here, and we'll catch you same time next week. And I don't know. I don't even want to tease any guests next week. We do have someone coming on, but we'll talk about that later. All right, pop that intro, buddy. Or outro. Intro. Outro. Outro. Outro.
Yeah.
Outro.